what they were saying originally. So like at first it was like it again they also said this blatantly violates international law and defies the international courts of justice's orders, blah 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 blah. So like Israel was talking shit and like being like this is not okay, like they're fucking not allowed to do this and like this is a problem. And now they're like this is literally just a bunch of people who want fucking selfies who like don't even like who like aren't even gonna fucking actually do anything. And then at the same time they're saying but we're not the ones that are saying that resources can't get in, even though that's literally what they're doing and they fucking have done since March 2nd as far as the humanitarian blockade. So
I feel like we need to save,
real quick,
I feel like we need
Christine.
to save all the people
Hey,
right
real
now.
quick, Christine. I would really like to take the power away from a certain set of people, these Israelis, and start calling it an H cost because that's what it actually is. A
Yeah,
real H
absolutely,
cost. I'm
Jeff.
not calling it no G side no more. I'm demming it a H cost because that's really what it is, and they hate that.
What's the definition of an H cost? Do you have a,
that's
does
all.
anyone,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I just don't know.
I'll get, and it's not anything against a certain group of
No, no,
people
no,
at
it's
all. I
not.
promise you, it's really not. It's really not. It's just this is actually what it is.
No, I know.
Well,
I'm just wondering
It
why
is.
if you're escalating it, like what the escalation is between G side and H cost.
Well,
That's
let's
all.
look. Yeah,
I'll
let's
leave
look
that to
up.
Christine. I'll leave that to
So,
Christine.
definition is of Schmolocaust is a destruction or slaughter on a mass scale, especially caused by fire, nuclear war, is the definition of a Schmolocaust, other than being used as and specifically to discuss the time of Schmazi Germany. That's the definition of a Schmolocaust. When we look at a geocide, hold on. Let me look up by the same thing. Hold on. Genocide is the deliberate unaliving of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic, I can say that, or ethnic group with the aim of destroying the nation or group. So I will say that the escalation would be the destruction or schmauder. I'm saying that like the schmautering of the lambs for TikTok purposes. The destruction or slaughter on a mass scale, as opposed to the deliberate unaliving of a large number. So I don't know if like it escalates it, although I will say, you know,
It absolutely fits, Christine.
I
But
also just want to add.
And then is there a next level where they build a resort there? What's the next level?
Well, I just want to break it
100%.
down
It's like-
really
That's
quickly
another.
because the etymology of that word actually has Greek roots. So holos means whole, okay? WHOLE. And then kostos means burned, right? So meaning to burn.
Oh, like caustic.
Literally, so
Oh, jeez, everyone.
kostos literally means something wholly burned or completely consumed by fire, okay? And then, so it's in ancient Greek and like Hebrew religious context, it referred to like an offering, a burnt offering to a deity, so a sacrifice, right? And so
Everyone who
obviously
says
that's
right while they're talking pisses me
Maze,
off.
hold on. You gotta, it's called.
I'm sorry?
Gives a fuck.
Wait 1 second, Maze.
Yeah.
So Jell's
What?
gonna finish what she was saying, then unscripted it's something to say, and then we'll introduce you, Maze. Go ahead.
No. What did he say?
I didn't hear him, but
Just
dropped-
whining about some bullshit.
Right
Yeah,
when who's
he-
talking? I thought
he
I was
thought
the
it
only
was
one
you.
talking. I'm
No,
sorry.
you
I
were.
was
You were. Then
just
Steven
trying to like, spread some like historical knowledge. Sorry if I'm, spitting
You're
facts.
fine.
Does he
you're
even know
fine.
what etymology means? Probably not. Anyway,
Thank you. I actually really appreciate you teaching me this because I didn't know the difference until now. Thank you.
I
think
love
they're
etymology.
probably asking for more information, Jill, because they didn't know what the word etymology means. And I'm sure that's what they were asking.
Well, and obviously, like it evolved over centuries, right? Like after World War II, like it became like a term for like a
The specific incident.
sponsored shmemicide for a particular group of people.
Yeah, it's like how the brined cucumbers are the ones called pickles, even though many things can be pickled.
Right, you've actually got doctors in here with more information than I know of. I'm learning, so anybody else that doesn't want to sit here and learn can.
Well,
Be
but
gone.
some people, so like there's like teachers and what's the word? Theologians. Yeah.
Theologians, yeah.
They argue that like it basically does imply like Jewish theologians actually implies that it is like a a voluntary sacrifice, which they believe is like pretty inappropriate and misleading. But like that is the like it's like
Your whole
there's like
definition
a
sound like
different there's a different
Palestine.
like Hebrew connotation to it, which like scholars kind of are like poo poo on, but the original etymology of this is like a burnt offering, which is insane.
Also, we're gonna make that scripture go next because they've been waiting.
So I did a video on the difference between a G side and an H course, and I wonder why it was taken down. I wonder why people reported it. And so as for the Madeleine, communications were lost after they were rerouted. So there's no way of knowing what is actually happening right now because the communications were lost. And so, yeah, we can't say that they've been released. The IOF are no longer on board, and that was the last we heard. But also, Christine, you asked, what do we call it when they built a resort over the land? It's called America.
I wanted someone else did, but yes, that was asked.
Yeah, that's called America.
Yeah, fuck, that is fucking. It is called America.
So,
And also, Dana brings up a good point too when we're having this conversation, because the word genocide did not exist. So it was coined in like the 1940s by a Polish Jewish lawyer who combined the Greek word genos for I believe it means like race or tribe with the Latin word side to unalive. But like it did not, like to her point, to Dana's point in the comments, it didn't exist before the 1940s until after World War II. So like for example, we had like the Armenian genocide, which like still hasn't even been fucking said that it happens by a lot of different countries. But like that it happened, but like that word didn't exist prior to World War II. So like that's also
the lawyer who came up with it, he was he was a Polish and Jewish.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Raphael Lemkin.
That's the
He
one.
was like mad that like the term didn't exist to describe like systematic
Extermination.
and like destruction of entire groups or like tribes of people. So whatever his name is,
Raphael Lemkin.
Raphael Lemkin.
And he also was the one who got it to be like to have it turned into a crime under international law, which led to the UN Convention recognizing it and like doing the prevention and punishment of the crime of genocide in the late 1940s.
are there still Palestinians in Israel?
Yes.
Yes, they
There's
are.
Christian, Muslim, all sorts of Palestinians in Israel.
Yeah. I watched this really cool documentary one time, and it was a food documentary. It was like a little independent film, but they had it in a theater, and it was about how the Israeli people and the Palestinian people all have restaurants in Gaza, and they go to each other's restaurants and hang out and get along fine, and everything's great. And they're like, it's our governments that are, or it's like it's not the people that are making the problem.
It's the Likud party.
So I wish I remembered the name of it, but it was such a great movie. It just made you feel like happy about the world because there's been so many problems there for so long,
As we're discussing this really quickly, for those of you who do not know him, this is Mohammed. He is in Gaza currently, and he is a journalist. He can't always turn his mic on or his camera on, but if you have gifts to send, please send them his way. And if he's able to load in, is he loading for y'all?
No.
All right, he's not loading for me either.
No, he's not.
All right, I'll have him request back up.
But yeah, I think he's got really bad internet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just
He's
so sad about the whole thing.
brilliant journalist.
Again.
Yeah, he's an absolute been documenting everything that's been happening to his people with asking for so little. And I think the journalists, as a journalist, I think this war, this entire thing, this past 611 days has taught us so much about the West and how we view media and the journalism, the view on journalism in the global South. And coming from the global South, and as somebody who has been to Palestine, Palestinians are the kindest, most selfless people I have ever met. And all they want is to tell their stories. And so please, 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 if you can, support Mahmoud.
We do as much as we can. Let me get soon the requests up. And we've been so grateful. One of the things TikTok does for us, I've been so grateful to be able to spend so much time and hearing from him on the ground. And when he's able to, sometimes we have a translator in, which is fucking great. Otherwise, as people know, you can translate in the comments. But it's been one of the things, as much as I hate social media, because we have such a problem with our media, getting to actually see a Gazan journalist, we should feel it's not it's something, is work he is doing, it's labor that he is doing. We should feel the gratitude of and of getting to see it from an actual firsthand experience. And I think that being able to put a face to the, we know his kid's name, we know what his brother, he's shared about his brother, we get to learn those things. And I think it's so fucking important. And also I'm pushing back on you a little bit, Unscripted, because the Zulu population in South Africa is someone I've traveled around the world as well. I've never been to Palestine, so I won't compare, but I will say the Zulu people I would have said the same thing about, because I had a similar experience in South Africa. So I'm pushing back on your own fucking country a little bit, because I felt the same way.
I grew up, so the province that I grew up is called KwaZulu.
I've been there.
The kingdom of the Zulus. I grew up in Durban.
I'm not even going to try to speak Zulu to you, because I'm going to fuck it up. Do you speak Zulu?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, the only thing I can probably remember, I'm gonna butcher it, is part of a song, but it was Tesulu Sizwe Ngabukala Ujehovah Mako Azogmovela. That one. That's
Hey,
the
you
only
got the
thing I can
click
remember.
right. Nice.
Damn, she with the shit.
How
I
bad
see you,
was it? Was
Christine.
it horrible? Was any of it right?
Wait, were
I
you just
see
doing
you.
the Simlish version of a Katy Perry song? I kissed a girl and I liked it.
That's exactly what it means. You just got the fucking translation perfectly, Jill. That's exactly what it means.
But,
Wait, how horrible was it though? I've never said it other than when I learned it to someone in 15 years.
Quite anglicized, but you got the click right.
That was a very grateful way to say
Unscripted.
it.
Have you ever been to Ghana?
I have not been to Ghana.
I have
No.
not been to Ghana
Slide by the Gold Coast one time.
So I've been to 40. Okay, so we have 54 countries in Africa. I've been to 48 of them. Ghana is not one of them. I have been to all the really, really underdeveloped countries.
All right, dropper. That's some bullshit. I'm kidding.
I said you were good singing.
I used to be a conflict journalist.
No, not you. I was making fun.
Because I'm going, you're a great singer.
That was not me.
That was
actually singing. I was trying to
good.
remember the words, but thank you.
But you have a good voice.
Thank you. That's very kind. It's just as kind as Unscripted saying you tried.
No, it's not you tried. I'm a serious critic with music. And you have a good pitch in your voice.
Thank you.
And you're going, I
No
can't
more than
speak it, and
me.
it's just flowing freely that's your native
I
tongue.
was trying to remember. I don't think
You
I
do a
sung
lot
that
better
in,
than me because I don't know
20
any.
years.
You know.
Dang,
I
I'm not
just
kidding. That was good.
Rosebud,
Yeah,
Rosebud, you
Speaking
got
of
that good
Simlish,
gritty teeth voice. You got that good gritty teeth voice. You done ran a boy off of here with that. I heard that.
oh yeah, I love
Rose, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Pennsylvania, so
Oh, okay.
I give props to everybody that speaks other languages. I'm like, yo, you speak stupid ass English.
Oh, I don't
That's all
fucking
we
speak
know,
I'm just
you
trying to
know?
ask you about Simlish because do you play The Sims? Because Rosebud was like a cheat code that you could type in on the original Sims video game where you could get like $1,000. Do you remember that?
No, I am sadly not very good at video games.
Hey,
Oh, that's okay.
can I have a commercial break for Ukraine?
Of course,
Absolutely.
we always will do a commercial
Russia
break
just
for Ukraine.
retaliated against Ukraine,
No.
and
Again?
after they did the drone strike.
Yeah.
So then they have done they're targeting high-rise apartment buildings and
What area of Ukraine? What area of
government
Ukraine?
buildings in Ukraine.
What area of Ukraine do you know?
Let me rewind. It was
This world is damn scary. You know that?
KFIF.
That's Aviv, yeah. Okay.
Say that at I really don't care what anybody thinks other than Christine, obviously. But no, I do. That's stupid to say. We're talking about music, but at like I don't know, like 18 or 20,000 likes, I'm gonna play a song, and I'm gonna just like stream it on from my computer, and everyone is gonna listen to the whole thing because it's really important, and it's one of the best songs that's probably come out in the past 20 years, and not a lot of people know about it. So
Can you tease us with like the name of it?
yeah, it's called Germ.
All right. That's all. Don't give us any more. The comments are turned off until 20K.
No, don't turn off the comments.
No, I'm turning the comments off.
No, don't do that.
No one can talk till then either.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh no, Simon!
No comments and no talking.
We will all
Silence of
sit
the land.
quietly.
No, I just want to prepare everybody for like, maybe an uncomfortable three and a half minutes, but the song is very good. And it's very, like it's filled with a lot of facts. So basically it's this punk artist out of the UK that just dropped basically like the fuck the patriarchy and take over the entire government type of song.
Right on.
Anthem.
Girl, have we not talked about my girl?
Yeah, I know about that song. I'm not talking about that.
No, I know. I'm not talking about
You're
the-
like with
hold on.
the ukulele?
No. That's not what I'm talking about. Lindsay Lab, which I mean, I love that fucking song. That's not the conversation we're fucking having right now.
Have we seen the protests with the girls running around without the tops on? I was
Oh
like,
shit! In France,
yeah.
they had their breasts painted. What the hell were they
No,
thinking?
I love that. That was
Look at the
beautiful.
girls. I'm so
My God,
proud.
some of them had breasts down to their stomach and just like
It's beautiful.
slinging
What
those
are you talking
things.
about? Fucking respect.
Oh man,
Right, those things
That's
could be
pretty-
used. Listen, if they're on the front lines, they're
They're
no longer
weapons.
they're no longer unarmed civilians. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Those things
hell
can
no.
be used as weapons, sandbags, anything.
Damn it, DJ Jack.
take her and throw her in front of a doorstop for
Okay.
sandbags.
Also,
Honestly, I think
sorry.
we
Also,
should
fucking
do, like,
wait 1 second. Fucking respect, and we should fucking take a note out of like their books, right? Like we've seen, for example, the way like their fire department like actually gets fucking involved for the fucking people against the police and like during these protests, and we've seen the way like the French Revolution happened. Like we've seen the way that like people protest, and like what we do in the U.S. is fucking nothing comparatively. So like the fact that we're even like having like where we started the conversation, like we don't do fucking shit compared to what other people do when they fucking protest. Like we're little sissies over here, and I hate. I should not use the word sissies. We're like we are.
No, that's a good word.
no.
That's a
because
good word.
And the other place the other place Russia attacked was Kharkiv. Kharkiv.
Kharkiv. Wait, they attacked Kharkiv?
Yeah.
Ah, fucking goodness no.
You know he's going for Poland and everything else.
You want to
too.
know what the best part is? The German chancellor who was visiting Trump, Trump's like, oh yeah, they're like two kids in a playground who want to fight. You pull them apart, but they just want to fight, so they go back to fighting. And sometimes it's just best to let them fight for a while. And he's just making light of the whole thing. And then the German chancellor said, well, it's not two kids that want to fight because Russia is attacking people and Ukraine has only ever attacked military targets. They've never attacked people. They're not the same. And it was
That's so awesome.
so awesome. Like, I love that Trump gets schooled every time he tries to meet with a good world leader. It's
He's
so
so
sad.
dumb,
And
though.
then I don't know if you
He's
saw.
so dumb.
I don't know if you saw the German chancellor like pulled out a framed. He like had a
Yeah.
framed picture of Trump's grandfather.
Yeah, here's
who
your
fled-
draft dodging grandfather
who
who got
fled
kicked out of
Germany to
Are you
avoid military
serious?
service. Like he was also like a draft dodger, and the German chancellor like pulled it out and presented it to him as a gift.
Oh, God,
And
no.
it was just like, yeah, he also was an immigrant. Nice.
like extreme trolling. It
Yeah.
was so
Right
good.
on. I need to see that.
It was like world stage trolling.
It was so good. And all of these leaders like do not respect the way that he treated Zelensky.
Zelensky, that was illegal too, what they did. I used to work on the Hill for 30 years. For one, they had people in there like from Russia, with no national security clearance. They had at least half the room had no national security clearance. We never put that stuff on the air. Never. And you remember the guy who said, "Why aren't you wearing a suit?" to Zelensky? Do you know who he was?
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know
And
what he
he's
does for a living? He dresses up like a transite.
He's
All
a
right,
far-right
all right, all right,
podcaster,
all right,
like all
guys.
of them.
She pegging him. Oh, shit.
Everybody. Let's not.
This is
Right,
like
that's not who
what?
we are. Yeah.
Wait, no, for real though. What did she say?
For what? Her boyfriend?
Yeah. No,
dressing-
what her
Yeah, he
boyfriend
was-
asked was inappropriate. Her boyfriend being part of it is a problem. The rest of you though, let's
Yeah,
not do that.
I mean, I didn't know I couldn't say this because he slanders everyone.
I know, but like,
Did you say a troglodyte?
No, a trans
yeah,
dresser.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
we don't like
He
fucking.
goes on the air. He does
That's insane though.
news.
That's insane though, Dakota. You can't do that. Come on.
No, he's on a news channel. And
Yeah,
that's
I don't
what he
even know what
wears
you're
on the
saying.
news and the media.
But no, how are you on the? Are you on the left or what are you doing here?
Oh my God, I love Kamala.
Okay.
Oh, you don't like Kamala?
No, I do. I'm just
No,
wondering.
I
why
didn't
you're-
know I couldn't. I'm sorry, I did not know.
No,
I
it's just like trying to use it like in a way where it's like putting someone down.
Yeah, it's like
No,
an-
that's
it's like an
not.
insult.
Are you kidding? Do
You
know
got a
how
strong
many friends that I
personality,
have
Dakota.
that-
Pejorative.
some of my best friends are transgenders. All that. I didn't say to be mean. I
No,
didn't
I-
mean to be sad.
did.
But I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he was horrific. He's horrific to everyone.
Agreed. But we don't have to like say more than that because like 100%, they're both fucking horrific. And like 100%, was it like he got into the fucking Oval Office and he got to be in that position where he was the one who asked that question because of that. And 100% was like what you fucking asked, fucking deplorable. But like we can like
No,
that was
it's like
deplorable
he's on
enough
media
without bringing
every
that
day.
in.
He dresses like that, goes on the media. That's what he does for a living.
Who is he?
That's what
Who
I'm
are you
trying to
talking
say.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Her boyfriend. And everybody talks
He
about
does
that.
it as a joke to make fun of them.
No. He does it for real. Nobody can figure out why.
Okay, but
But that's not being that. Okay, so
I think
then
it's
that's not a
sarcastic. I
problem.
don't, because I've met him. And he's so conservative to the right. It's
I'm
confusing.
pretty sure if he does that, he's trying to troll, and he's
He
actually
probably is.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm
he's
trying to
actually-
find out.
He's
You know what I
actually
mean?
making fun of
I'm
trans people.
uncomfortable.
Right.
Um,
And I just found that out yesterday, so I was trying to find out if he was, legitimately like that, or was he doing this to being a butthole?
okay, no,
You know
no.
what I mean?
I am really uncomfortable. with that
Butthole is a
because-
really
I want to move on past this. conversation.
insults we can use. So if I would say butthole is a safe word.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from this conversation because like there was like apparently like a video that came out, an old video of him dressing in drag. But we're not gonna fucking. I don't.
Right.
I
Well,
don't
I'm
think
sorry.
it's-
I really didn't know I couldn't say that on
No,
here.
no, it's not that you can't say it. It's just like the same way I don't give a shit if like he dressed in drag or not. Like if he did it in a way that was like trying to harm drag people, but like it looks like
Or
from
if
what
he's
I
in the
know of
closet.
him, he was just dressed in drag at one point in an old video.
Well,
And
my thing was he went after Elon's daughter, and he attacked her publicly.
right, so we can definitely talk about that, but like that doesn't, we don't have to
Yeah,
like,
this ain't newsworthy.
right, and like it's also
Elon's
like we're not
daughter?
gonna, no, like the other
It's
part,
fine.
like the
Let's
mom and
just
that.
move
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong. It is
I
weird
didn't
that
mean
he
to. I'm
does
very
this.
sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
very
you're good,
sorry.
you're good.
It's not that you didn't do anything wrong. I do feel that you did, and you're tokenizing trans people in your life, and I'm very uncomfortable with that.
What?
Um,
I
like, no,
promise you, I feel horrible that it was, I said something wrong.
No, so,
Personality
Ew,
strong.
I
You
feel
good. You good.
horrible.
can I explain a little bit why it felt wrong to me, Dakota?
Yes, please.
And like I understand you're trying to like figure it out because you couldn't tell if like he was picking on them, etc. So
Yeah, I
so
didn't.
yeah. So who the guy is, her boyfriend, right? Is
Yeah.
what's his fucking name? Brian Glenn is who it was. And it was for a morning like television show, is like what he's now currently saying. However, if you look back at the video, that's not like it looks like it was. It seems like that was just like it wasn't done in a way that was anti-LGBTQ. It sounds like he may have been like he was doing drag in reality. So like
That's what I thought. That's what he was doing.
right, but so then that's what's the problem, right? Because
Well,
like
because in the Capitol, everybody was so mad at him for the things he was doing. And then it went around that he did this, and they said,
but,
they said he was mocking,
but so
so I just, what he did to Zelensky, though, was deplorable.
yes, and
It was
I think
hurtful,
that's
it's
exactly what we
painful
should be
to
focusing
watch.
on. That's
It
what
was,
we should be focusing
and
on.
that should have never, it's not allowed to be on the media, those things. And what they did to him is unconstitutional. And I think he looked beautiful. I think
Well, I don't know if I would go
he
as far
doesn't
as
need to
saying
wear a suit.
unconstitutional, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It was like yes, the way they treated Zelensky 100% was fucking fucked
She
up.
might have been
The
looking
fact-
for unconscionable.
Yes, it was definitely unconscionable, and like it was deplorable, and like I mean, calling him a fucking dictator, the way they fucking like literally, it was a setup the entire time. The fact that they purposely did it in front of the media, the way they fucking spoke to him, the fact that like Trump like was like, I'm gonna call you a dictator, but I'm gonna be like use the excuse of like, when you're trying to like do a negotiation, that's why I'm not calling Putin out because that's not how you negotiate. But he literally like sat there and fucking like spoke to Zelensky like that, and then like, so advanced, and then like exactly what you said as far as like what he was wearing when you're like, have you not fucking like, do you guys, it's fucking the Trump administration, but like, have you not been paying attention? Like you literally said from the beginning of this, like, no, until my people are free. Like I'm like, and like I thought the way Zelensky handled it like showed so much fucking class and leadership. And like he got like a little dig in there, being like, I don't know if it'll be as expensive as yours, but like, like and type of thing. But like I thought he handled it with such class.
He did. He sure. And look at how NATO treated him. It was beautiful, hugging him, offering him everything. They, it's just sad. We're America, right? And it hurts me deeply that. I mean, some of the countries you guys listed, it was weird because they're three of my favorite places to go to. Someone said South Africa. Who's from South Africa? Was it?
Unscripted.
Is she here? I mean, you're the one from South Africa, right?
They are here. They're here.
Okay, so when Nelson Mandela ran for president, I was there with Congresswoman Diane Watson, and she was there to try to make sure that a lot of the black congressional women came to make sure that they were following the law to vote without hurting people. It was very scary, but it was also amazing at the same time.
So, okay. Mandela was released on my 6th birthday. Before then, my family was on the run. We came back and forth trying to just, protect our family. It was a terrifying time between 1990 and 1994. But we didn't have a class revolution. And that was one of the key things that we talk about now in the ways in which Mandela actually failed in negotiations with the apartheid government because white monopoly capital was maintained. And in that time, people were making sure that things were safe, but people weren't making sure that people got the resources that they needed. So the difference between apartheid well, official apartheid time and now, is that apartheid never truly ended. It was just privatized. And that was something that the US was actually sent to do, to make sure that white monopoly capital was maintained.
So it was a harmful thing to South Africa, not a good
Yes.
thing.
To have the black congressional women come?
Well, because we sent. It looked better, right? The optics were better if we did that, right? But like,
Yes.
no, it's the same way that like when we intervene, and like the same thing like how we've intervened in Haiti, the same way we've intervened in like a lot of the countries. Like we say it's like a good thing, and like we're doing it to like promote democracy and stuff, but it ends up not being helpful and just destabilizing the countries more when we get involved in most of these situations.
I think it's always good for someone like your country, for you to speak upon it, because then you're educating me, right? Because I only understood the other part. But when I hear you,
the same
it's
as
brand new to me. You know what I mean?
same as having black faces at the UN put their hand up and veto ceasefire.
Oh, God.
Really same thing.
Oh,
Unscripted, talk your shit.
oh, wow.
It's,
That makes me ill.
I did an entire episode on this about how the West uses black faces and black voices and people of color as tools of furthering its own aims. Let me try to find it. How whiteness uses people of color to further white supremacy. So I said, white supremacy is not merely sustained by white individuals, but it is deeply embedded in social, economic, and political systems that strategically co-opt people of the global majority. By analyzing historical and contemporary examples, whiteness can be seen as employing people of color to maintain its power. Understanding these mechanisms allows us to challenge them, fostering true racial justice and equity, and it's only through collective awareness and resistance that we can dismantle these structures.
And Unscripted, by the way.
First.
Yeah, I have a question for
Well,
Unscripted after Christine.
Yeah, and Unscripted for those who maybe aren't aware. And like, I, by the way, I appreciate Dakota, like you being like, oh, I'm not, like, I love when people are like this. I'm like, thank you for like letting me learn. You know, like I'm the same fucking way. If I ever find myself in a room and I'm the fucking smartest person in the room, I'm like, let me get the fuck out of that room. You know, that ain't a room I want to be in. So like, I appreciate, like, I ask questions all the fucking time, and Scripted has taught, like, everyone on this panel that I've been in a panel with before has taught me something. And Unscripted, for those who aren't maybe aware, kind of to what I was speaking about as far as like American intervention. So like, not to get off of the point where like the fact that we like use people of color in order to try to like make it like, now it's like, oh well, if as long as we're having them be the ones pushing it, now it looks good. Like if you want to maybe speak a little bit more so people understand the way that like the US destabilized South Africa instead of supported, and like kind of tends to be the way whenever we have US intervention in that way, where we try to like set up a government.
Yes, we
Like, same
do.
thing that's happened in Haiti, same thing that's happened in Iran, Iraq, and like many different countries. Like it ends up tending to be more destabilizing, and like I could speak about it as far as related to Haiti, but I'd love, since we're talking about South Africa right now and it's currently something that's a big issue. I mean, so is Haiti with TPS, but Unscripted, if you want to maybe speak about that a little bit for those who aren't aware.
Let me ask her a real quick question before she gets into the potential.
Okay.
You know, do they, and since you're overseas, do they tell y'all anything about the creation of the Ben Gurion Canal at all? It's just a yes, no, or anything like that.
We have a lot of information about the creation of the Ben Gurion Canal, but I'll get there.
Yeah,
So-
we'll talk about that another time. I just wanted to see, because that's very important, and in my opinion, the link between the Russia-Ukraine war and then Israel-Gaza, for sure. But yeah, thank you. Continue on with Christine's question.
So the only paper trail that we have leads back to the Reagan administration. And the Reagan administration were the ones that actually signed documents in full support of the apartheid regime, and particularly between 1981 and 1985. And, you know, it makes absolute sense because the US upholds imperial ideology. But it was hostility, open hostility towards South African calls for self-determination. Any African state wanting self-determination was branded as a T-state. And there was this huge obstruction of Namibian settlement, peace settlements, and this approval, this written approval of Pretoria's attacks on neighboring states such as Angola. And the pressure on South Africa, on South African resistance groups to back down from the Reagan administration are well known. So much so that punk bands throughout the US had what was called Drums Against Apartheid, and drummers from punk bands from all over the state gathered in front of the South African embassy in DC and played their drums until the South African apartheid workers could not work anymore and they had to
Right
go
on.
home. And part of that, it was partially led by Henry Rollins from then group the group Black Flag, and Dave Grohl was there as well.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
yeah,
cool.
It was cool, but it was like,
The only time I've ever gone to jail was when I lived in LA. I was a teenager and I was protesting apartheid outside the South African consulate. Like it was a whole group called the South African something Youth Coalition, and we went and our picture was in the paper. I'm like, wow, I went to jail and my photo's in the newspaper. But that's the only time
You should send that to everybody in the family.
I didn't keep it, sadly. Like I that was like 40 years ago, you know.
Oh, no. But they probably have an archive. You know, you probably could get a copy.
it's the archives are held at Yale. If you want pictures, the archives are held at Yale because that was the home of the coalition against apartheid, the U.S. coalition against apartheid, all of those documents are held at Yale. So
See, that's cool because then you can get that back, so you could have it.
Yeah, I hope to go to jail again soon for something as
Oh,
good.
Hold on one second, Dan. We're
I'll
gonna
bail you out. I got bail money.
I want to make sure Unscripted gets to finish with the response, and then I've got one thing to say, and then Jill's got a song to play before we continue.
Really, really good news that relates to this whenever anyone wants good news.
Oh, God, yes.
always want good news because Jesus.
Me-
But like
Yeah, and I want her to tap back in on the Ben Gurion Canal.
these kind of tacit agreements from these so-called globalists, but we know that the globalists were and are imperialists, pushing for this kind of a worldwide coalition. They were never really united on policy. They were never really united on how they were supposed to get there, but they were very united on their end goal to maintain Western control over countries with resources. And South Africa is rich in three things: diamonds, gold, platinum.
That's a lot of money.
Yep. Our richest mines are in platinum, and the owner of that mine, of the biggest mine in South Africa right now, is called Anglo American.
No way. No way.
My picture of my other account is in the circle at the top of the screen. My poor little banana account.
Oh,
You know, a lot of my friends are getting banana on here and they haven't done anything wrong.
It keeps happening.
I think I do things wrong, but not to my mind.
So, and Unscripted, if there was anything else you wanted to add on that, and then I wanted to quickly touch on like how we can see this in another country too quickly, and then I wanted to make sure Jill got to play their song, and then we'll introduce Dan.
so basically, to answer your question, the paper trail goes back to Reagan. But the tacit and implicit support for the apartheid government can be seen throughout foreign policy, especially to do with Africa, throughout the USA post World War II policies towards the global South. Its support of all of the apartheid ministers, the fact that it hosted Hendrik Verwoerd. Hendrik Verwoerd is the person who coined the term apartheid. They were very proud of being an apartheid state. The apartheid state was elected into office in 1948, the same year that the Israeli state came into being. Hendrik Vervoort himself called Israel an apartheid state, being very proud of the fact that there was another state that was doing the same thing as they were. So you can see the paper trail from Reagan onwards. But it was, if you read the book, 10 Myths About Israel, Ilan Pappé touches on it, but in the 100 Years War on Palestine, you'll see a little bit about the US and its treatment of the South African apartheid regime and how it relates to Israel. There's no book that I've heard of that actually covers the US support of South Africa's apartheid regime. Not yet, at least. I'm writing a book now, but that is going to touch
So
on
there
it a
will
little
be
bit.
coming soon to
Coming
a
soon.
town near you.
Yeah, no, I'm writing a book right now about women and femmes of color and how we experience society as different points of trauma, and looking specifically at Global South examples. So yeah, that's going to be touched on how the US kind of buys into imperial ideologies and supports imperial ideologies the world over. And that's why Traore is being labeled as a T, and his government is being viewed as a militarized government in Burkina Faso. The
He the
playbook
goat.
is the same time and time again. I'm going to bring up my research on the Ben Gurion Canal.
Wait,
Is
what
that
was
similar to like the Panama
Can we just
Canal?
have Jazz ask his question really quickly?
It was the
I,
that's
I,
what it was.
yeah, I had asked her already. I mean, I had asked
Ben,
already. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I
Oh, my
apologize.
bad.
I'm for real not the best with that. So give me grace. I apologize. But I believe the reason for all of these wars are due to the oligarchs. And when you see how much minerals are involved in Ukraine and you understand what Russia wants to do with trade and you see all the things that are happening and you understand what the implication of the Ben Gurion Canal means to world trade, it's easy to
Mhm.
see exactly why these people want that specific plot of land. Crazy,
Okay,
crazy,
so
crazy.
part of the reason is because Egypt can basically try to break away control right from the start.
Exactly.
You saw that Egypt wanted control of the Suez Canal, and this plan harks back to 1956, I think it is, where
Yes.
plans for the Ben Gurion Canal were put into place, and the entire war of the Suez Canal. It was 6 days, but it was so significant because it showed that the Egyptians were prepared to fight back for their land, for their sovereignty, and for control over their own resources. And the Ben Gurion Canal is of such strategic importance that gives the West control over trade in and through the Middle East. It's not just about getting rid of the Palestinian people, excuse me,
Hmm.
it's about the economic and ideological foothold in the Middle East. And
Yeah.
so the Ben Gurion Canal was not proposed in 1956, but the idea came
Wait,
from
wait, wait. Can you
1956.
say that
It was
again?
proposed in
Can you just say
1956.
that one last sentence again? Because that's very important.
It's about economic and ideological control in the Middle East.
Period.
Yeah. If they're able, that's why Bibi Netanyahu is pushing this whole Greater Israel plan. Because if he has the Ben Gurion Canal running through there, he's going to do way better. I mean, he's going to be able to trade a lot more than the Suez Canal is. The Suez Canal can only let like what three boats in
Mhm.
at a time a day. The Ben Gurion Canal will be able to let them just drive through like it's water.
Because they're going to be actually destroying and pushing back land.
Exactly. Now you're talking about trade between America and India way
Uh-huh.
faster. Trade between America and Russia, America and China way faster. And I believe, I'm not getting into no conspiracy theories, that's really what the whole point of it is for. All these oligarchs in NATO, all these oligarchs here in America, all these oligarchs in Africa, for say, they all want that. And that's why Saudi Arabia has not stepped up and done anything. about what you're seeing happening in Gaza. Because why? They understand that that canal is going to benefit them immensely.
Well, and also we have some really weird, inconspicuous, agreements with Israel in terms of cybersecurity and the tech that they have there for cybersecurity. So it's basically like an extension of the U.S.
I mean, yeah, that cybersecurity, in my opinion, is very minimal in comparison to the Ben Gurion Canal.
Also, if that conflict ends, Bibi goes to prison.
No,
Hell yeah.
Jazz. That's one of the main reasons
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
we continue this relationship like unchecked. Like we don't check Israel the same way that like the UK does, right?
I
Yeah, that's
understand
right.
that, but I'm talking about the reason for the wanting of that land. And I understand why we're close with them, da 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 da. That's whatever. You get what I mean? But it's the reason why they want that Ben Gurion Canal there, and why the surrounding countries aren't doing anything
Well,
to assist people in Gaza.
we're not going to get the land though.
Uh,
I'm saying that we're not going to get the land. Like we might get trade agreements and we might get contracts and we might get, goods and minerals, but we're not like ultimately like the US won't like own the land there.
No, no, no. I don't think I don't think we're talking about the same thing
wait,
right
wait,
now, Joe.
before we get into, because like we're kind of switching all over the place, and I want to just make sure we say a little bit, and I want to kind of quickly address one of the things like Dakota had said, because I think this is like 100% a learning point. And then if there's anything else unscripted wanted to land with, and then Joe, we've got a song that you've been waiting on. We got to introduce Nine Nine. I just quickly wanted to address something because I think it's always important to like learn. And as someone who like really cares about the Haitian issue, that's like where my nonprofit is. That's where my brother's from, and he's about to lose his TPS status. It's scary as fuck. And so like when we're talking about like American intervention, and like people have a lot of like, and again, I'm not like calling you out, Dakota, but like when it's like, but look at like what we like did, and like we see it as a good way. You know what I mean?
So
My best friend's Haitian.
Yeah.
I-
So,
I-
but, right,
it-
no, but so Dakota,
right
the
to me.
reason I'm bringing this up is because like sometimes we get this like when I talk to people, and like I'm only bringing it up because it's kind of a similar like as far as like when we write our history, right? So when like we hear it, it's like the U.S. helped, but like when we look at like for example in Haiti, like so like back even in the early 1915, the U.S. invaded to protect American banks with investments in Haiti. It wasn't to help Haitians. Like we said that that's what it was, but like that's not what it was. And like then we like rewrote the Haiti's constitution. But the reason we did it was to like allow for foreign land and like ownership, to allow for American companies to extract their resources and profit. But we said it was like to help the Haitian people. We said it was to help promote like support democracy, etc. And like that was just like in the early 1900s, but like it continued on, like even like during the Cold War, like we used Haiti then as like a foothold in the Caribbean. So like we then had naval bases, we had trade routes. So it was like, again, it wasn't like we said like it was to be helpful. But like we backed the dictators like what's his name, Duvalier or whatever, because they were anti-communist is what we said. However, they were schmurdering people. And like it continued to happen, and like has continued to happen. So like we've seen again, like they have we've like installed different leaders. Then like that leads to like it's like we're saying you should have self-determination and democracy, but we're not even gonna let you vote. And then we're gonna be the ones that like put in this leadership, and then like it leads to a coup, and then we're gonna like put in someone else and install another like leadership. So like whenever we hear like the U.S. is doing something good by going to this another country, and like trying to help, we gotta go, are we though? And like that should be immediately a fucking red flag, because we're not doing it unless we're getting fucking something out of it, and it ends up harming the people.
That's why it's nice to have people from different countries, because we do need to learn. You know what I mean? I'm so excited to learn about experiences around the world, because I did not know that
And white people are
about
boring.
South Africa. I did not know that.
Tommy, I don't know what you're saying, but you can't say that word.
Me?
No, in the comments, Tommy. You
I
just
thought
said
you
boom,
said
boom
I
in the
couldn't say
comments.
white people.
Oh no, Tommy in the comments. Just I don't even know what you were saying because I couldn't like the Englishing wasn't Englishing. But like say boom booms, please.
Who is semi new to TikTok and has trouble doing TikTok friendly language, but he's a really good guy.
Okay.
Let's
Just
say hi to
try to say boom
Nine.
booms instead. Yeah, let's say hi to Nine, and then
So,
let's see if there's anything unscripted you want to say. And Joe, you've been waiting to fucking DJ, and we could all use, I think, a song break. So
Oh,
as
I'm
soon
being
as we,
patient. I love everybody up here. I think everyone is super intelligent, has a really like different perspective and amazing perspective that we all can. I don't know.
agreed. And just in case something happens, I'm making sure. Am I already following everyone? Oh, Dakota, you're the only new one. Make sure I'm following you too now.
Okay.
Do you guys want my good news?
I love the good news,
Yes.
and then let unscripted finish and introduce Nine, and then Jill song time.
Okay.
And can I share something
Or
after
no,
that?
Alyssa, you can give the good news first.
After the song and everything?
Yeah, Alyssa, if you want to give your good news, Nine, then you can be introduced, and then unscripted can finish, and then Jill can do DJ. And also, Christine is going to stop trying to dictate that. I was just trying to make sure everyone had their opportunity.
So, do you remember when this all election started and there was the whole Latinas and Latinos for Trump happening? And we were like, no, you can't be that. Like, it's so wrong. Like, don't do it. Elian Garcia actually came out against Trump today. She's the one who started Latinas against Trump.
I still can't stand her.
Yeah,
Me
but,
neither.
but,
You know,
but
I can't stand
the
her.
leader of the movement came out against Trump, which means that the tide shifted.
Yeah, I saw that today, but
And
I was still pissed
Yeah,
off
I
at
know,
her, you know?
but I'm just happy because it means that we get them back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it means that. I mean, I think we also have to be careful because like the lead, look at like Candace Owens, look at like Joe Rogan, right? Look at what's the fucking
Exactly.
guy that reviews pizza, to
Oh,
use
God.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like it was like, oh shit, it's impacting me, you know, like Candace Owens, like, you know, same fucking thing. Like I hear you as far as like I'd love to see a shift, but I think like trying to extrapolate it like that is a little difficult.
Well, I think
Especially
that everything that
Can we
she
please,
said.
I'm so sorry, Alyssa. Can we please introduce Nine? Because like
yeah.
she's been waiting for a little while. Hi,
It's
girl.
okay. Hello, I'm
What's up?
Nine. I'm
Hello.
I work 8 to 5 today. I want to unalive.
No.
I'm 19 years old and I voted for Kamala Harris. Also, I didn't know if you guys knew this, but fun fact, I share a birthday with Kamala. Period.
Get out of here. In October?
Yep, October 20th.
Oh, my God, no.
We're both Libras. We are both
Oh, my God.
Libras.
Wait, I'm October 28th.
You're not a Libra,
Kamala
though.
turned
You're a
60.
Scorpio. Ugh.
I'm on the cusp.
Me, her, and Michelle were born in 64, civil rights.
Yeah, I was born in 05.
You're a
What was
baby, my dear.
what was Alyssa saying though about that Garcia lady though? What were you
No, she
saying?
was.
She came out against Trump today. Two Latinas, Latina movement people, like the heads, the people who started it, the co-founders of that movement, came out and said, this is not what we agreed to. This is not what we were told was going to happen. This is not okay. We're not okay with it. And this is horrible and
You
terrible.
heard what she said about Gaza though, right?
No,
Oh, what did she
I'm
say?
not saying she's
No,
a
I'm
good
asking you a
person.
separate question.
Oh,
I'm asking you a separate question.
Yeah.
And
No, I
that
don't
was
like her.
foul. Okay, cool.
I don't like her. I'm just happy because I feel like when a movement starts to lose its top people, it starts to fall apart.
Yeah, still don't feel sorry for her, but what she said about Gaza,
I don't
that
feel
was
sorry for
trife.
her, but I feel
Yeah,
like that a lot
I
of times
understand.
people will justify something because they're like, oh, well, you know, my senator is doing it and she believes in what's best for me. And now the senators are getting up and saying this is not what's best for us. And I feel like that is really good for the midterm elections coming up.
so also the support of that specific group for Trump was rooted in Islamophobia, anti-blackness, and the belief that people can be inherently better than the other. So absolutely, it's not that I have absolute sympathy for the fact that these people were hoodwinked, but it's just a case of like, I never thought the leopard would eat my face.
Ooh,
Go on. That was good.
Oh,
We're a good
shoot the
singer.
Dang.
What just
yo yo.
happened?
That's off the chain. You need to sing
Fucking
now.
laid
Where
it
the
down.
where the Grammy
I'm
at?
gonna throw my heel at you.
Where the Grammy at? Hey,
I'm gonna do a J head on you.
Joe, I want you to be able to play your song.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Let me
It
finish
doesn't
the.
sound, it sounds like you need to do a little bit more reading, to be clear. Because you need to look a little bit into like what happened as far as like what the Insurrection Act is, which wasn't imposed. He should have if he wants to, what he fucking did. But when you say like no, he's allowed to fucking do that, that's not true. You can't invoke Title 10 without like invoking the full Insurrection Act. Like you're supposed to ask, the governors are supposed to be the ones to ask for it. This is incredibly unprecedented. It goes against federalization, etc. I'm not going to get into it because we were already talking about it. We can get back to that in a minute because we're going to like focus on other things. But before you like say something like this is what's happening, you should probably look into it a little bit more.
Who's he talking to?
Let me finish.
I don't know any more in the comments.
My answer of answering Jazz's question. Ultimately, the Ben Gurion Canal is an imperial dream, because right now the Suez Canal handles 12%. 12% is huge. 12% of travel imports exports. But what it would mean for the Palestinians is further dispossession of their land, total destruction of their land, and the fragmenting of Palestinian life and territory. It will cut through the Negev desert, and that's a place that has already been hit by dispossession. But also the environmental costs would be staggering because it would decrease. It would basically exterminate all life in the area and take down even more olive trees. It would require massive amounts of water, energy, and at great cost to the ecosystem. And it's already the entire area is already under pressure from climate change. So this artificial waterway could destabilize the local ecologies. And finally, it is a point of surveillance. So what you can do is read, you can join my readings on Discord or on here. Currently reading a book called The Palestine Laboratory by Anthony Lowenstein, and showing how Israel is basically testing out all of its technologies, especially surveillance technologies, on Palestine and on Palestinians, and then exporting them to the rest of the world. And what is really, really interesting is that a lot of the surveillance technologies are now being used on Americans by the Trump administration, and Americans are now like, oh, but these surveillance techniques are like 1984. Yes, bitches, you didn't have a problem when it was used on brown people.
Well, just real quick, I'm Native American Indian. I'm Lakota. You guys remember Standing Rock?
Okay, now I'm very uncomfortable.
Okay, well, we got a letter last week from Trump, an executive order. Standing Rock was putting pipes through the water on our sovereign land, and it was horrific what happened to my people. But now we got a letter saying that Trump said in an executive letter, which is not a law, that he's coming from any time. It could be tomorrow, right? They're coming to drill for oil in the Black Hills, our most sovereign land, and we're not going to let it go. We're not. We're going to fight. We fought on Standing Rock. We will fight, and we are so organized. So, but the unfortunate thing is, how many people are going to have to do this? How many groups of people have to organize to save your family and your friends or your land? We didn't do anything wrong. You know? How could you come to sovereign land and steal it?
Fucking facts. I want to do a quick music break. Before we do, I do want to address one thing in the comments because this is where we started the conversation, and I want to make sure that you've mentioned a few different times. I don't know anymore. Like that you're not completely understanding this. So let's be clear. Firstly, what I'm talking about is like the protests going on in LA. For those who weren't reading the comments. So to be clear, no, You're not supposed to do what Donald Trump's doing. He did not evoke the Insurrection Act, which was, like, should be clear, is supposed to be a legal tool of the last resort. That act, by the way, is the one that gives the federal law the power, like the president, the power to deploy military, so including federalizing the National Guard within the U.S. in 3 situations. Firstly, this hasn't happened. He did not do it. If he wanted to, this would be the way you would do it. You would use the Insurrection Act. However, the times that you can do that are 3 situations. Firstly, when the state requests it, when they want, like, unrest is too great. So, like, when a governor calls it in, which has happened before, for sure. That's one of the ways. Secondly, to enforce a federal law when it's being obstructed, which is like what he's trying to say. Or third, to protect civil rights when a state refuses to act. Again, he has not done. He said that he's, like, not looking past potentially installing the Insurrection Act, which would be fucking scary as fuck. But, like, he's saying that to be clear, right? However, that threshold was not met. He did not evoke it officially. Instead, he used Title 10 to federalize troops without any explicit legal cause. You can't do that. So the LA protests have been mostly peaceful with isolated property damage. There was no evidence of any sort of breakdown that would justify any sort of military occupation. The police said, "We got this, no fucking problem." The governor said, "We got this, don't fucking come here, you'll escalate it." Then what do? They fucking escalated it. This is unprecedented, to be clear. A president deploying troops against a state's will with no formal declaration of insurrection. Because, like, the governor, again, so when I say against the state's will, like, yes, this happened in, like, LA riots before in the 1990s. However, the governor asked, right? That's part of the difference. Governor Newsom did not ask. So not only did he bypass, like, completely the law, he violated federalism. So, like, the constitutional balance of, like, state versus federal power. And it sets a precedent where, like, presidents could now deploy troops whenever, like, protests occur, whether the states want it or not, whether there's any reason to or not. And
which makes it pretty chill to declare national law, to declare martial law without actually saying martial law. Oh my God!
That's what this is all about. That's what this is
the
about.
Trump administration is creating a narrative where they're protecting the people and protecting the peace, but they're actually violating the law, but claiming that it's one other thing when they're actually doing the definition of the thing that they claim that they're not doing.
Dakota, they're going to be able to do a lot more to your sovereign land if he has that martial law. So it makes it crazy.
No shit. No shit.
And I want to kind of just end here really quickly to, like, finish up for the idiot in the comments. Also, like, there's this whole, like, because I want you to look into this because you keep, like, saying, like, you think you fucking know it. So there's this thing, and it's called the Posse Comitatus Act. It was written in 1878, and it specifically prohibits the use of federal troops for domestic policing unless specifically authorized, like under the Insurrection Act, which Donald Trump did not do. The Insurrection Act, he did Section 10. So you can't do that because he didn't invoke the act, and the governor did not fucking ask him to come in. So it's suppressing civil liberties, right? And, like, in order to do this, again, like, we can talk about the historical context. It happened during the 1992 riots when George W. Bush did it. But again, the governor fucking asked him to, and it was after they had faced days of fucking unaliving riots, like, multiple unalivings, over $1 billion in fucking damage, and they were asked to fucking come in. So it's not fucking comparable. There's no mass unrest. There's no fucking invasion. Like, civil order hasn't collapsed. There was no state request for troops. It's not the fucking same thing. So, like, you need to look into it a little bit more before, like, you, like, because it is a problem. I don't give a shit who you voted for. Like, we're literally, it's not martial law yet, but, like, to their point, it's acting a lot like it. So, like, martial law, again, to be clear, refers more to, like, a situation where military authority, like, replaces civilian rule and, like, suspends constitutional rights, like habeas corpus, right?
But Christine, they don't understand this, though. Like, they don't get this. They don't understand that these are the things that the administration, this is how Trump operates. When they say he's playing 4D chess, like, yeah, he's playing 4D chess right in front of your fucking eyeballs because you're too dumb to realize what he's using against. He's literally using you to weaponize an entire group of people. You don't fucking realize it. And at the same time, it's like, do these people have a fucking kink for, like, rules and, like, authority? Because it's getting fucking weird. That dude that was here earlier that was like, well, what if you snuck your kids into Disney and then Disneyland kicked out the parents but left the kids there? It's
my God. Are you serious?
What's going on?
Yeah.
We're talking about
That's disgusting.
We're talking about one of the biggest corporations in the fucking country and internationally, and, like, you're worried about the rules? You're worried about the rules.
I'm gonna slide out. I'm gonna slide out to go to sleep real quick, but I gotta ask. Um, Unscripted. The book that you said was called the Palestine Laboratory. I can't. The Palestinian Laboratory.
Palestine Laboratory, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna.
Hey, Jazz, too. President Jimmy Carter wrote an incredible book about the Palestinian people. It's incredible.
Jimmy Carter was based, but a little bit lazy. Nine, I had a question.
Thank you very much, y'all. Y'all go to sleep.
Yeah, it was great
Me
to see
too.
you.
Unscripted. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Oh yeah, we'll see you
Googled
again.
it. I Googled
And
it.
before we go to Nye, if you don't mind, I just really want to end with this too because you still seem to be confused. I don't care, and like I'm gonna end because like you just don't seem to be able to be educated. So like I'm just gonna make it fucking clear again. So just so we're on the same page, right? Because like then you responded with like what, but like he's not allowed. Like there's like he's not allowed to fucking do it. No, he's not allowed to fucking do it. Like again, you cannot just bypass the Insurrection Act requirements. So like he did not invoke the Insurrection Act. Right? And like I hear you when you said like, oh, so they weren't obstructing federal laws. Literally, you cannot fucking do it. Like the reason you cannot do it, right? Even because they were like they said like he's trying to say like it's because they're like violating ICE and like they're getting the like in they're dealing like you're trying to like use that argument. To be clear, in order to federalize the guard and like protest and like the protests, etc., you're making the military act as de facto police without invoking it. So again, it literally breaches the Post Commentaries protection. That's why I fucking read it. That's why it's illegal.
So you're
They're allowed.
telling me that the Insurrection Act has
It's
to
not
be
your
invoked.
turn. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. Yes, no, it does not. In order to use Title 10, yes, in the way that he's doing it, he did not follow legal procedure. Before we get into it, Nine, I had something to say, and then we had a song, and then we'll introduce you.
No, I Googled it because you know that we can do that. We can get on the internet and Google something and look it up and figure out things. I don't know why other people don't use this exercise, but I already answered my own question. Thank you, Christine.
I love you. So, see, Nine is an example of what we should do when we don't know something. We look into it.
It's almost like she's 19 and understands media literacy. That's wild, right?
Gosh.
She's an old soul.
A nuance.
I'd hire you in 2 seconds.
I have a theory that sounds insane to the wrong type of people, so I don't really give a fuck. But I have a theory that people on the left that care about others, this is like, at least their 3rd or 4th time on Earth as a human being, and people on the right think in terms of like very black and white binary thinking, us versus them, and this is their first life here on Earth as a human being. So we can talk about that maybe on another day.
They think this is a sporting event.
Yeah, it feels like it's like you just want to get like a W, as people fucking say, right? And like that's not what it is. But so to your point, I don't know, and well then we'll introduce you after I fucking tell you again. To be clear, Title 10 of the U.S. Code grants the president the authority to call in federal service members or like the National Guard of any state, but that's only when the United States or one of its states or commonwealths is invaded or threatened with an invasion, when there's a rebellion or threat of a rebellion, or when the president cannot execute the laws of the United States with irregular forces. None of that was happening, right? How was it not happening? Because the police were already able to qualm it, because there's not a rebellion, there's not an invasion. So in order for him to do anything he wants to do outside of like as far as like following the legal path, if he wants to say like he wants to forego what the governor wants, all of that things, then yes, you'd have to use the Insurrection Act. Even then, if you want to use the Insurrection Act, like it'd be really fucking like he's probably gonna fucking do it. But even then, he doesn't fucking like file the definition of being able to do the Insurrection Act either. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because it was bypassed. There was no proclamation or state request. The protests don't qualify. It wasn't so we're not there. Title 10, he completely misused it. There was no authority for domestic unrest without the Insurrection Act being invoked. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And again, he violated Post Commentaries because he was sending career soldiers to manage protests without proper legal authorization.
Exactly.
Okay, what are you talking about? Anyways,
Is that the guy that was in here that was making that comment?
Just
Host,
please
was
do a
that the
quick
guy on
Google
the?
search if you have to have the Insurrection Act to implement Title 10, because you do not have to have it. So stop saying
I
that.
did not say you had to have it.
You've said it 3 times.
No, sir. No, sir. I made it very clear. I said, right, that in order to do Title 10, he misused it. And I went through the differences. So this is why we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a fucking reason, right? The reason he invoked Title 10, not the Insurrection Act, which clearly you can do, or else that you couldn't do it, right? So, like, by definition, by what I fucking am currently saying, that means you can invoke Title 10 without invoking the Insurrection Act. What I'm saying is he didn't follow the legal procedure,
But
and
he
the
did.
reason he did not,
He did not.
the reason
Okay,
he did not is
No,
because
because
Title
you're
10.
you're not going through the whole thing of Title 10.
Okay, do you want to read the whole thing together?
Yeah,
Title
we
10?
can.
Sure,
We
it's right
can.
here.
Before you go into this, Jel has been waiting quite patiently.
He has.
And I want to bring up 3 things. Dakota, I understand that this is your identity, but Indian, in the context of indigenous people to Turtle Island, is a slur. So please avoid saying it. And it
What,
is
Native
also
American Indian? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No. There are so many
Indian
tribes
is
that call,
slur.
my tribe calls us Native Americans, and we have posts all over.
No, not Native American, Indian.
Indian. The term
We are
Indian is
Native
taken as-
American Indian. That's
it
who
is
we
taken-
are.
it is
And my
taken
whole
as
life,
a
my
slur
elders,
and it is-
everybody's called
Dakota,
it that.
please do not overtalk me.
Oh, but don't accuse me
Not-
something about my
not
people.
Overtalk me. I am
Wow.
trying to explain something.
Wait.
It is also an erasure of my people. Okay?
How does your people have any to do with thing with American land that we're being thrown out and put the G on us?
Okay.
That's what they're doing to my people right
Wait
now
a
every
minute,
day.
because there's a lot of
Dakota,
nuance to
we are
this one.
Indian.
Let's all take a deep breath because there's a lot of nuance
Yeah.
to this conversation.
So
This is not fair, though. Do you think this is fair?
Wait, no, I think it's a really
Yeah.
nuanced conversation.
Yes, exactly. This is two very different point of views from different backgrounds. But Dakota, I understand. Actually, there's 74 people in here right now. Okay, I named my daughter after your name, if that is your real name, because it is a Native American name.
It means friend or ally in our language.
Friend or ally.
Yeah, that's Lakota.
And I hear you, and I understand that you are that type of person. So
I'm an elder too in the tribe.
And by the way, I'm not disregarding what you say, but so
Right.
the reason that there's some and I'm going to just say for myself, I'm not going to speak for Unscripted, right? But let's remember that the word specifically comes from Christopher Columbus, who mistakenly thought he landed in India when he arrived in the Americas. It was
He
like
never stepped foot on this land.
That's what
Did
I
you know
said.
that?
Right.
Okay, so but for my people,
No.
no, you have to understand. We have been put through so much that we have so many people that are native on here fighting everybody because no matter what we do, someone has to say shit to us.
Oh no, and
But I'm
Dakota, and by the
sorry,
way, Dakota,
somebody from South Africa telling me who I am and who my people are? No.
no. Dakota,
But you do understand the connotation to Middle Eastern.
When you are Native American and you've gone through my people have, then speak upon it. But you are not.
No, and Dana, I know you have, and I'm getting
Right, but there's
Dana.
two
Wait, 1
different
second, Dana, I'm getting
definitions.
it.
Really? Would you like to meet all my friends, all my people on my tribe? I'll have them come in here and you can address
Wait
them.
1 second. Wait 1 second, please. So I hear you. 1 second, though, Dakota, and I see you in the comments too, Dana, and I know we've discussed it as well. So firstly, to be clear, the reason that some find offensive or harmful, right, is there are over 500 native nations in the U.S. alone, right, and tribes. So calling all indigenous
370.
Yes, right. Over 500, I believe. But calling all indigenous peoples Indians, groups them into this homogenized term, right? Which you would not like, right? Because we get that there's the
We
tribe
don't
with
call
it.
ourselves that. And I can show you all the information of how many tribes
don't
do
call
not
yourself
declare
what?
themselves
Indian?
as indigenous.
Wait, okay, no. I'm
That's
not
a
saying that you do.
colonizer
I'm not
name
saying
for
you do.
us.
I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you
It's
do.
a colonizer
No,
name
no,
for us.
Dakota. I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying that me, I, right? This is why I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about you. This is your people. I'm not talking about you. And what you call you, it's your people.
I
I'm
just want to
saying
hear Unscripted fucking finish what she was going to say because I really respect what she had to say and I feel like the defensiveness is a little much.
Wait, you respected her attacking me
can I
on
please
my
finish what I was
people?
She's not attacking you. She wasn't.
Oh, really? And if I said that to her, would it what would have
Wait one
happened?
second. I'd like to finish what I'm saying first, please, and then we can go back.
Christ.
Thank
Well,
you
you
so
know
much.
what? I'll come back with my tribe. Okay.
Okay, so all right. So if you would let me.
Good morning, everybody. The weather's nice today.
Your teacup, Christine.
Yeah.
You probably
If
gotta
we had
call.
finished, I was going to also get into the fact that like a lot of people have reclaimed it as well. And like many, like for example, by like there's nation names that people use. There's the First Nations, it's like said, Indigenous is used, Native American is used. Like, but many prefer to be called by their tribal affiliation, like more specifically. But like again, when we talk, and again, some Native people have reclaimed the term and like were raised using it and choose to identify that way themselves. I'm not saying, and I wish you were here to hear that if you're still here. I'm not saying that you should like if that's what you've reclaimed and that's what you like. I'm not even saying that as far as like you're part of the community. I am not. However, let's remember that it's tied to colonization. It's literally associated with centuries of genocides and forced removal and boarding schools and oppression. It's constantly been used in slurs throughout history. Like when we talk about like the Grunkin Indian or the Schmavage Indian or the Schmindian Giver, this has been a term that's continued to be used. And again, it comes from the colonization of fucking Christopher Columbus, and it's a colonial misnomer. It's rooted in error, not in identity. So like, and I will never tell another community what to do, but I do think it's incredibly important that we recognize that like, where it comes from, and like however you would like to talk about your community is how you should. Go ahead and script it. We're not talking about the Black community right now.
The thing is, Christine, is that the term Indian is not theirs to reclaim. It's ours.
And I also fucking hear that too. Right, because it was like, again, I will just say it was one that was given to them when they were also colonized, right? I hear what you're saying as far as it's not theirs to reclaim, but like kind of the same way, like it's because I'm not going to even use the word, but like for the exact example, like the N-word, right? Like I would never tell a Black community like member that they couldn't use that within their community, and that was the like record, like the reclamation. And even though like it was given in a similar fashion, you know, as far as like someone harming them that used it to hurt them. But like I get what you're saying as someone from, I believe you're of Indian descent originally. Yeah, so I get what you're saying as well, where it's like, no, like this is who I am. Like this is one that was put upon you. And I know Dana would like to address this, I'm sure as well, because Dana's helped me do some unpacking on the issue as well and talking about it. So like if you two want to talk about it as well, feel free.
Nine wanted to go after me.
Yeah, whoever's turn it is.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
they can go. That's fine. Yeah.
Christine, I also sent you a DM.
Gotcha.
I would first off like to say that this is not a topic I'm well versed on whatsoever. So in moments like this, I like to just do research, and this is not me like telling anybody anything. This is me just literally reading directly off of a website. It's American Indian .si.edu, and it just says American Indian or Native American. American Indian, Native American, or Native are acceptable and often used interchangeably in the United States. However, Native peoples often have individual preferences on how they would like to be addressed. To find out which term is best, ask the person or group which term they prefer. When talking about Native groups or people, use the terminology the members of the community use to describe themselves collectively. There are also several terms used to refer to Native peoples in other regions of the Western Hemisphere. And it just basically says in Mexico, Central America, and South America, whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, I just wanted to say that was on the website or whatever.
Okay, Dana. Hi, Dana.
Hi. I'll introduce myself. I'm 30. I live in New York, and I voted for Kamala. I'm also Native American, and I've been up and talked to Christine about this before because it is like a very difficult conversation for all of us to have. And I don't think it's one that anyone's ever going to fully agree on. Like across like Native American, across this country, people aren't going to agree on it, let alone people that are also equally affected by it, like the Indian community, the Indian American community, the Indian diaspora, people from India. But it's really difficult because like we are still like there are people that have never found this word offensive. There are people that have reclaimed it, but then also too we are still managed and governed by this name. So it is like one of these difficult things that it doesn't.
When you say that, because I learned this from you, Dana, like if you want to talk about maybe some of the like agencies, et cetera, that still use it. So like when we talk about it, like just for those who aren't aware, when you say that, what you mean, some people might not be.
Yeah, so our tribes, at least, okay, again, the federally recognized tribes. There are there are unrecognized tribes, and then also, of course, this doesn't include like indigenous people from Mexico or other places in South America, and it doesn't include indigenous Canadians. But of the 574 federally recognized tribes, the government agency that we directly deal with is the Bureau of Indian Affairs. There's also the Bureau of Indian Education that deals with our education. And there's also Indian Health Services. So this is like one of these things that makes it so difficult because a lot of people feel that that term is very pejorative, and I completely understand why. I feel like it's maybe, I don't know. I think saying that it's outright a slur is complicated for these reasons, because like, yes, it is often used as pejorative. Historically, it's been used as a pejorative. It's also a misnomer, but like, those of us that belong to federally recognized tribes are dealing with these agencies that carry this name all the time, every day, every week, every month, right? And then also,
Unscripted didn't say that it was a slur. Did they?
they did. They did.
Well, it may have been me. So I said it's been used as a slur, and I was giving like the examples of like
Been used as a slur. I was just. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dana. I just wanted to clarify.
yeah, no, and maybe it may have been me. I'm not sure if unscripted said or
No,
not.
I
but
did.
when I said like, because I had said like it's been used as a slur, for example, like the Schmindian drunk and like the Schmindian giver and like those type of
No,
things,
no.
and like
I
was
did
used.
say that it has been used as a slur, and it is seen as a slur by some people. But the thing is that this discussion is still rooted in American exceptionalism, in that it is on the recipient on the American side. I am of Indian descent. Like, my family, even though we've been here since 1860, we are still Indian. Like, our entire line, except for one person who got jiggy with the Norwegian, we are from India. And people from India and people of the Indian diaspora see it as offensive. And nobody asks us, like, we are Indian.
I understand that, and I completely respect that is the truth of how a lot of people in the Indian diaspora feel. All I'm trying to say is that it's difficult for us as Native Americans to navigate when it is still baked legally into the systems that we have to engage with every single day of our lives.
So, and just like, because I think this really helped me when like you were explaining this to me kind of the first term, like when like you talked about like some of like the different laws and stuff that like still use the term Indian that the United States government uses, like the United States government uses these terms, and then it's like, but I'm not supposed to use the term. So like, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know if people like know about like some of the different like laws and things that each specifically still use the term Indian in the United States.
Well, yeah, like there's like the Indian Child Welfare Act, which is like an incredibly important piece of legislation. My father was adopted before ICWA was implemented, and it would have completely changed, the history of my whole family's lives if he hadn't been adopted to a white family in the 60s. And then also too, like in terms of like the legal names of a lot of our tribes, like I come from the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians. So I don't want to discount how the Indian diaspora feels about it at all, because I think that's an entirely understandable, valid, legitimate feeling to have. I also understand though where Dakota was coming from, because it is hard when us as some of the most marginalized communities in this country feel like we often never get a say about ourselves. So that's where I think a lot of her anger was coming from. Obviously, I'm not her. I can't, say for sure that's what she was feeling, but obviously it brought up some very strong emotions in her. So.
Well, and like for me, and like I'm talking as like I'm Armenian, but I'm fucking white ass presenting and shit. And I've never had to deal with discrimination because I'm Armenian. My family obviously has, but like I haven't really. I mean, a few times on a plane. But like I'm very white presenting, so I've never dealt with it. But so like I see myself more, like much more. Like I'm white. I'm fucking white. You know, I got white privilege and shit. So like, but I can see too where like it feels like the colonizer is still the fucking one who's like kind of like putting you both in this fucking place. You know, like it feels like it's still like I mean like that, like as far as like as Dana, right? It's like we're still fucking like like the people who came over and fucking colonized me, right? Are now the ones that are like they still have the laws, and now it's like the ones who like are using this term. They've used it negatively. Now we're not supposed to use it, etc. And then to your point, unscripted, and please, like I see you already like being like I don't feel the same way. But like as far as like it takes away from your like identity. It was just like, no, motherfuckers, I'm fucking Indian. And like now it also like doesn't give you your voice. And like if you were an Indian, like say you're an Indian American, you know, you're living in America, and like now it's like you know that's doing that too. So like when I'm saying it in that way, I'm saying like I could see how both of you would be like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do? You know, like it feels like the two communities that should be like the two of us should get more than the rest of us. Like I like it kind of feel, you know what I got? You know what I mean? Like I could see how it would harm both of you, and like you know that's all I'm just trying to say, and like that's coming from someone who I obviously don't understand what either of you are saying more than either of you.
That's
but
what I
trying
would
to
say.
learn from both
They are
of you.
both victims of the colonizers in different ways, and so because both have been victimized in this, they are both victims dealing with what white men created. This problem was created by white men, and now it's hurting both of them.
Well, and unscripted, I'd love to hear more from you because I've heard from Dana on this, and like I've looked into like Dana had sent me some resources, and like I've thought of it more from like to be clear from like the indigenous experience, and I have like to be honest, and I try to be honest, I haven't thought of it as much from like the Indian experience and like how it harms Indians like similarly, and I think I've done a lot more research into the other way, and so I want to make sure that I'm understanding, and I want like because I'm not like, and I want to understand, and I know like your position's fucking valid, but I need to learn. So like if you want to add more, I'd love to hear more from you as well.
Well, we understand that Columbus and his people were trying to find our people. And the colonization of Turtle Island happened because of that supposed shortened trade route. And we understand the history and the nuances in all of that. The erasure of our people happens when another people is identified by
As
those
you.
people.
Gotcha.
And the acceptance of those colonial terms means that our people are also sidelined in history. Turtle Island becoming the US, it is a first world country. It is a country that the realities are very different from ours. And we have also experienced oppression on diabolical levels in different ways, especially by the British.
Honestly, you saying the erasure of our identity made it so much clearer to me, just even that, because like I to be honest, I really wasn't putting together, like I did a little bit, but I wasn't putting together the same way. And I think like that was a really helpful, just even that statement alone.
Yeah. And so even indigenous people using the term Indian as given to them by the US government is always going to be offensive to us because it erases our struggles and it erases our history as well. It erases our people as people from the global south whose realities are not really cared about by the first world in the first place. As it's not just sidelining, it's ignoring that our history and our experiences as well. Because people talk about the Indian experience, and we are seen as bystanders in our own history. So I don't know what to say, because like the fact that it's called the Indian Act, the fact that indigenous people of Turtle Island are still referred to as Indians, it is still a colonial thing. It is still a colonial insistence that these people are Indian. And buying into that buying into those colonial terminologies is a huge part of our erasure, in that our identities are sidelined and taken away. Our realities are taken away as actual people from the global south, to also experience atrocities at the hands of the colonizer.
Thank you for sharing that, because I'm going to be very honest. I've thought about it much more so from the other side of it, and haven't really heard someone that's Indian like really explain it in that way. And I learned a lot from that. And like I recognize like kind of the facts behind it, but I don't think I put it together in that way. And it's just I appreciated that. Thank you. We're all here to learn, everybody.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to fight my fellow people of the global majority. I just want, our reality is to be understood, because it's, America is going through absolute hell right now. And what I want to do is stand by my Black, Indigenous, and people of the global majority, in absolutely meaningful ways. And
I hate that, like, for both, like, and I'm not saying, I'm not gonna kind of make this a joke, even though it's not the right fucking time, but for like both the Indians here, right? And like I'm saying that too, like I hate that. I'm so sorry if that was disrespectful, but I was just trying to like, cause like, like it's like and I'm gonna fucking take, even though like I'm not the one who did it, I'm gonna take accountability that like both of you are still being so fucking harmed and like marginalized and like not like being heard, not fucking being prioritized, not getting to, be your fucking selves, because of us, because of like the people who did it to you. And like I'm hearing this hurt coming from both of you, and it's like because the fucking colonizers.
Did men do this, or it's almost like women can, from two totally different backgrounds that are, also oppressed and like both understand that ideology in their own way, can get along and have like regular conversation when we realize that we can actually just understand that like men created these systems that try to keep us apart. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. But also, my water bottle says, "Don't bully me, I'll CUM."
Wait, what's it say? Say it again. I've heard the last part.
Don't bully me, I'll CUM.
I love it. I love it.
Saying that?
And this was her cup said mug.
So I would really like to actually have an entire conversation on that, because I feel like, what's the word when people enjoy feeling pain and like getting berated? Christine, can you help me with that?
You mean like in the schmeck? You mean like in the schmeck field?
Pink. Masochist?
Yeah, yeah, masochist.
Okay.
So I didn't know if that's where you were headed with it. So
that a lot of men, especially between the ages, well, okay, so I feel like there's a gap. So there's like the ages of like 18 to 26 that voted for Trump, and then there's a huge gap. Then there's men that are like, I don't know, like 46 to like 46 plus, right? They will stay up on a panel of women that are like dirty commies and feminists for 9 hours, berating them, verbally schmoozing them, and just like they're kind of giving a little bit of bait here and there, like they know the talking points, but like it gets weird. I'm telling you, if you can read between the lines, you can understand that this is actually a kink. It's actually a fetish. Men do really enjoy getting dominated.
They're ashamed, yeah.
They love getting dominated, and they love feeling like they are nothing, like little rats, right? So that's just my theory.
We should get fucking paid for it, honestly. But like you know what's so interesting? Because John, I know you and I have talked about this a bunch. I just saw an interview of a woman who like does OnlyFans and stuff, and like she will like have requests on both sides to like be like it'll be like a MAGA guy who wants her to like be like act as a lib and like fucking tear him apart. And then like the other way, she gets it, which like I was like I found that one weirder, which I know I shouldn't because all men are fucking gross. But like apparently they're also like this huge majority. Like also she has a whole bunch of people following her and like paying her that like she'll like get dressed up in like a MAGA bikini and like do that whole fucking thing and act like a stereotypical MAGA and then be like talk to like as far as like down to, but like the kind of what you're exactly what you're talking about. Like embarrassed and like abused and like
because they love a power structure. They love to label it and define it. Can you put me up on the big screen really quick? I'm just going to spill the Peter Thiel tea very, very quickly. So, okay, this was in the deep dark web of Discord the other day. Peter Thiel tea is piping hot. NSFW. Okay, so my friend, ex-coworker, we used to work in nightlife. Hooked up with him a couple times. He's a never satiated pig of a bottom who painted more than once. Also, he's a fist enjoyer and had a gorgeous apartment in NYC.
And to be clear, one of the things we're highlighting the most, like we don't give a fuck if he is gay or not. What we're highlighting the most is like the whole insatiated part.
Never satisfied.
And like also insatiated doesn't just mean not just satisfied. It means like even if like I get off a million fucking times,
Imagine having imagine getting sorry. Imagine having a fist and then still not being satisfied. Like, what is wrong with these men?
I have 2 fists.
Are you satisfied?
You should call him up.
Are you satisfied, Dan?
Not happy.
Okay, wait. So I wanted to say more things.
Yes, and Dana, I want you to get right back to that because that was a really important conversation. Dan, can you just really quickly?
Sorry.
I don't.
That's okay.
No, Dan, can you just really quickly, because I don't know the number off the top of my head, and I know you do. What's the number as far as
voter eligible population?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Dan. Repeat.
29% of the voter eligible population is what enabled Donald Trump to become president. Only 29% of the country are losers.
Okay, so to be clear to the person in the fucking comments who like didn't get what I was fucking saying, only 29% of those who are like able to fucking vote voted for Trump. Just FYI. He won. To be clear, no one's saying he didn't win, but only 29% of the voter eligible people. Okay, go ahead.
A plurality.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Dan. You okay, girl? Jill?
I had a frog in there.
Oh yeah, no. I just I was just thinking about
Men.
Starlink, but keep going.
Starlink and men.
Can you drop Rosebud for Tapley, please?
Say again?
Can we drop Rosebud for Tapley? Rosebud's not been part of the conversation. Can we bring Tapley up?
Yeah, no worries. Rosebud, if you don't mind, I'm going to drop you down so Tapley can come up for a little bit. Please feel free to get back in the queue.
Okay, I guess.
I will talk to you later. Have a great night. Day.
Yeah.
Bye.
I love Rosebud. She had good vibes.
For sure. Feel free to get back in the queue whenever.
Tapley! What's up, big dog?
What up? No, more like
Before we
we were talking
introduce
about pig
Tapley,
bottoms
though, we want to
and
make
how
sure
to
Dana
like
had something that they wanted to finish up on as well.
Yeah, I believe
More like
Tapley
what?
has a 5.0 rating on Yelp, but in Tapley's case, that should probably be called Moan.
wow.
All right.
Wow.
Dana, I think there's something you wanted to add. An incredibly important conversation that like actually was super fucking informing Christine and knowledgeable. And I really appreciate the way that the two of you were explaining it because you were doing labor that I did not know. And learning from both of you just made Christine more understanding. And I know you wanted to add more to it, but thank you, Jan and Tapley, for that. This is why women need to run the world. Dana, if you wanted to talk. I know
Okay,
you've been waiting.
first of all, happy Pride.
Happy Pride to you too. Fuck yes. That was the
waking up
perfect
to
timing for that, Dana.
But yeah, so I wanted to say that, like, yeah, Unscripted and I are definitely, we're in conversation. I also am not here to fight. This is a conversation that has to be had, because like it again, like I said, I don't know that we can find middle ground between all of both, your community and my community, because everyone has such different opinions on this, even within our own communities, let alone between our two communities. But like, you are right that it is like a colonial moniker. But it goes so much deeper too, right? Because Native American is also a colonial moniker, because it's implying that, it's associating us with the American project to begin with. So it also too, like the problem started with classifying all of us who are identified as Native Americans as even a group to begin with. Because pre-contact, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of individual cultures and societies and groups of people that would not have ever considered themselves to be in one lump group together, right? So like, this is already a huge problem. And
Just
like,
quick question, Dana, just because I want to make sure I'm loving to learn about this. So like, my understanding is like I don't know if it's still, or if it was like whatever, like if it was just like originally, but like isn't there like 500 plus different tribes in the
so
US?
presently there are 574 federally recognized tribes.
Okay.
So that is
I know you
the
explained it
tribes-
partly to me before. Thank you. I appreciate you reminding me.
Yeah. So yeah, just for everybody, those are the tribes that are recognized by the United States federal government, that are considered to have a government to government / sovereign to sovereign relationship with the United States federal government. That it leaves out a lot of people, to be clear, but that is presently the state of indigenous legal politics in the United States. But I also wanted to give I think is a pretty good example that I've been thinking about a lot recently, because in the United States in the 60s, there was what was referred to as the Pan-Indian movement, which was a movement where a lot of Native American groups, organizations, people wanted to kind of all identify with each other to build political power, right? I think that were pros and cons to this. I think now in 2025, a lot of us are trying to specify our own cultures more and more and more. And I don't say this to say that it's a bad thing to say, but I think Turtle Island is also a good example of this, because Turtle Island comes from primarily Anishinaabe and Eastern Woodlands creation stories. But that's only a certain group of indigenous people. So to be clear, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling the United States Turtle Island, but it is also one of these things that has become kind of a ubiquitous thing when many of us don't have creation stories that have anything to do with that. So like, I know like a lot of my cousins, they won't call the United States Turtle Island because it doesn't have anything to do with our creation story. It's not a bad thing to say, to be clear. But it's just one of the ways that a lot of, again, what we would call Native American culture, when it's really cultures, gets kind of homogenized into one thing. And that was the first colonial impetus, is to racialize us and say that we are one race of people that is just kind of like broken into subcategories, when really we were like hundreds of separate individual cultures that had our own belief systems, our own stories, our own traditions, our own spiritual beliefs, et cetera, et cetera.
Really quickly, this is, and I'm not including my fucking self on this, one of the most I love when we have these panels, and like partly I think it's because it tends to be a lot women leaning, but like we have some of the most intelligent people come up on these panels, like from all different experiences and backgrounds and like parties and places, who get like whatever, but like I learn so much from all of fucking you, and like I love the space. I appreciate y'all.
And I
I
want to
feel like
talk
I always
about,
leave with like knowing more than when I like started.
I want to talk about how dumb I am right now. So
But
this is
isn't it
not
so
the
like
perfect.
Dana's told me this part before, and like still like even hearing it the second time, it's like I'd taken it in and I looked at like Dana would give me those websites and I've started following them. I think it was you who gave me the websites, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I was like, I think it was you. Like, so I like started been like following them more regularly, and so I've looked into it more, and that was why when the other person, and I was not trying to be rude to them or like discounting their experience, but like there were a few times where she was like had said like 300. I was like, wait, I remember just learning from someone that like there was like 500 plus, like, but those were just the ones recognized, and like so like it, like but like it's still like even I hearing this second time, you know, like the fact and like I'm still like I'm doing like some of the work and the research, and like I check in every day on the website you gave me is my book like bookmarked now, so I like check it when I check the news and shit. But like it's still like I appreciate everyone giving their labor from their own personal experiences and like their own knowledge base, because like I can keep fucking reading and doing what I can, but like I didn't grow up knowing all of this, you know, and like that's a fucking fault on not just me but American fucking school education. So like I appreciate like thank you. Please keep talking. I'm gonna shut up.
And also, I just
I
want to
just want to say how smart you guys are and how dumb I am, because my whole life I thought that my family came from Russia. And then I did ancestor.com and found out I was Ukrainian.
Now this is a loaded question. I also have a master's degree in Russian area studies. We can get into that later if you want, but
Yeah, and apparently it was like part of Russia when my family lived there or something. I don't really know. But that it's like weird when you find out that you're not even from where you thought you were from.
Alyssa, you should definitely look, because that makes a lot of sense actually, that you would like not, you know, so I would definitely look into like I can send you if you want message me after this or I'll fucking forget. I can send you a really good kind of brief, like I mean it's like an hour long, but that like really like as someone who start working with Ukrainian and Russian families and stuff, and like I as I care about geopolitics and stuff, it was one that like I learned like back when I was studying like political science before I got my degree, but like I like rewatch it sometimes because again like we Americans are fucking stupid, like we're not taught a lot, we're so fucking centric and like we're so focused on the United States, but like other countries like citizens know more than we fucking do about our own history, you know, like we're not even taught our own history. So like there's like a really good video that's like about an hour and a half long that like really gave me a much better understanding into like the whole formation of like the Soviet Union and Ukraine and Russia and stuff. And I think as someone who's like still it's your identity obviously in your culture, but like it was one that really helped me understand kind of the nuance why like I would say it would make sense to be like, oh shit, I thought I was Russian this whole time, but now I find out I'm Ukrainian if I like do my genealogy. So like it's
Right?
if you want, I'll send that
What
to
a
you.
shock to be like 40 and figure that out.
And well, and like, but it makes sense though as far as like if you
They
think
just
about the
stole
history.
my
of it.
identity and then gave it back, I guess. I don't know. But
Well, yeah, but like if you think just the history of it, like if you want any more information, feel free to message me about it because I think the video is like a really good one about explaining it.
awesome, thank you.
Of course, you'll have to DM me afterwards, or I'll completely fucking forget. I'm not gonna lie.
I would try. I also have ADHD, so you never know.
One of these days, one of us will remember.
ADHD and intelligent women and other people. I'm not really sure why we're not at 30,000 likes. Seems kind of lame, but to each their own, I guess. There's 87 people here, and I just don't really get it. Seems like you're not interested in the conversation. If you are, you can request up, or I don't know, just tap the screen and keep complaining in the comment section. That's
Oh no, they're gonna stop complaining. How many likes would you like to get them to until they're allowed to have the comments back on, Joe? That's up to you.
I mean, 30K. I like even numbers.
Okay, I'm the same way. And so it's autism and ADHD showing, or mine at least. I'm the same way. I'm that person when you're turning up the fucking volume on the TV and you're like, that's not the fucking right number. Why'd you fucking stop at 27? That's not fucking acceptable. You can't stop the volume at 27. Like, what are you in? Like, get out of, like, we can disagree on basic fucking human rights, but if you don't get the fucking volume, you stop the volume at fucking 17? Like, are you trying to fucking, like, set me off? Like, what the fuck is your problem? That's not an even, like, that's not the right weight number. And then people like, so it has to be an even number. And you're like, well, no, you could stop it at 15. That would be acceptable.
Okay, well, to be fair,
No
to
one
be
does.
fair, when we're talking about decibels, odd numbers are okay.
No. Oh, it depends. So, like, 15 I said was acceptable, right? That's
Yeah,
an odd
15
number.
is good. 15 is good.
Right. And, like, I'm okay with, like, 18. Like, if you don't want to go all the way to 20. Like, 19, no good. Right? But 15, so it's not just being an odd
19
number.
is very, very bad.
21.
Agreed.
21's the best on the TV.
Unscripted, do we agree with this?
No. Firstly, I would like to propose 5 as an honorary even number.
Agree.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
on board.
yes.
I agree.
Does it pass? Does it pass?
Groups of 5, groups of
Wait,
5
we have
are good.
it's seconded
I'm all
here.
in on the
Gel, do you
5. I
third it?
totally get it unscripted.
Gel, do you
Okay,
third it?
so I didn't know
Yes.
this was a thing.
All right, wait 1
Everybody,
second. We need
I'm
one
the
more
same.
and the motion passes.
Oh, I agree. If you didn't hear
All
me.
right, motion
With the
passes.
sentence.
5 is now
I
been, now given honorary even number.
5 and
even
15 are
power.
even numbers now.
What?
And so, but like 7 is the
I don't
worst.
understand.
Oh,
Even
of
the
course.
Dan, you need to calm down.
I don't understand.
Dan,
don't like
you
prime
learn.
numbers, man.
Listen, Dan, it's going to be okay. Okay? It's going to be all right.
Unscripted 7 is the fucking worst.
No,
Oh
wait,
my
I have
god.
an
Wait,
argument
what's
for
wrong with
7.
7?
I
They
have an
don't like
argument.
prime numbers. It's okay.
But listen.
What's
My
wrong with
birthday.
Let unscripted explain if like you don't understand what's wrong with fucking
Okay.
7.
Firstly,
was
it's the shape
okay.
of it. It's like just the shape of like
100. And it's like what? So you
I
couldn't like so 5 was like you couldn't do 5. You couldn't do 6.
unscripted.
8's too fucking much. So we're gonna do the one that's like the weirdest. Like the shape doesn't fucking work. 6 is like a beautiful one. 8, perfect. I'm okay with 8. Like I'd actually be so much more fine with 9 than fucking 7. But fucking 7. Like, I mean, 9 still is not good. Like, go to fucking 10 or 8. Go to 10 or 8. I don't fucking want 9 either. But if I have to choose between 9 or 7.
No, this is 7
7 gets
erasure.
supported.
Ever since I was younger, I just knew that 7 times 3 equals 21 was
It does.
was cunt. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It was what?
Yeah, it was cunt.
Why?
It just
Just,
is.
it just
Wait,
is.
is that like a term?
I
Like,
I
are you
feel
saying
it.
like it was
Is
like
it?
fucked up?
7
Is it
times
serving?
3 is
No,
serving.
no,
It's
it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Was it
It's serving.
serving?
Wait,
There's like a weird
Wait,
symmetry
tell me
that's
what
hard
that
to like
means.
put
Tell me what
into
it
words.
means.
It doesn't mean anything. It's just great. Like, everything about
Oh,
it
okay.
fits. It
Sorry.
makes
I
sense.
didn't know if you were saying like the letters or something. I'm sorry. I'm old. I
No,
thought it was like
we're
gonna
not
be like
speaking
when we used to
in
write
code
boobless
right
on the
now.
on the calculator.
We're not speaking in code. This is a safe space, and I'm telling
Well,
you
I know, but I
that
thought
7 times 3 equals 21 is just like
No, she
poetry.
didn't know that cunt was a positive.
No, well, no, I know it can be used like in like yes, I didn't know it meant that. I was thinking that
That's
like, you
where
meant, like
we're.
when you
That's
take
where we're.
boobless
Yes,
on
she
like
does.
your
She lives
calculator.
she lives in Brooklyn. Yes, she does.
I didn't
Queens, but
know.
no, I know it means a good thing too. But like I
Wow, that
thought
was
like
Queen's erasure. Oh my
Christine,
god.
it's Pride Month.
Okay,
Come
but
on.
okay, excuse me,
You
I'm
got to
part of
get
the
with it
community.
with.
I'm part of the fucking
No,
community.
I'm
Hold
kidding.
on.
I'm kidding. I'm
Happily,
saying in this month of all month, you got to come correct with
I'm
cunt
part of
in
the
its
fucking
proper
community, Tapley. Don't
context.
even start with me. To
I'm
be
just
fair, it was
kidding,
my
Christine.
age that
I'm
was
kidding.
it was my age that was showing because when we were doing numbers and then she added a word, it made me think of the calculator when we would do like she was this feet tall. And then she
It
was
made me think
too
of a
fat. And when you do
calculator.
it equals boobless, and you turn it
You're
upside down.
one sick puppy.
And
I
that's
didn't
what we
know.
used to
I
do.
didn't.
Does no
I
one else
didn't
know
know
the
that
boobless thing?
cunt was being used as a positive word. And then my son's friend sent him a text, and he said, "I saw your mom looking cunt as fuck at the grocery store." And I was like, "Is that good?"
That's
Wait,
high
okay.
praise.
Okay,
And
hold on. Does
he's
no
like,
one know
"Oh,
the
that's
boobless
really good,
thing? I need
mom."
some validation. The comments come back at 30K, and someone will know the boobless thing in the comments. No one else did the boobless thing with the calculator?
Well,
You
I'm
do.
Oh,
trying to.
of
I'm
course,
trying to. I'm
boobless.
trying
Okay,
to.
so that's where my mind
I'm
went.
trying to
Thank
say
you.
it.
I'm old. I
Yeah,
apologize.
8008
Wrong.
7 3
You
5
enter it.
5.
You enter it as
Boobless.
55318008 because you turned the calculator upside down.
Wait,
Tapley.
True,
but no.
true.
So we used to have a math equation where it was like she was too fat, which is like horrible. But then they lost 5 pounds once a day, and that made her like that was like there was a whole saying we used to fucking do.
Listen,
Ew, was
we're
that
gonna
taught to
lose
you by a
all of
teacher, or was
our
that just something kids
It was
came
I
up
don't know
with?
when the
we're
kids
gonna
taught
lose
me.
all of our Gen Z
It's
audience.
because the only game we had
Oh,
was
it's
Frogger.
30K. Yeah, I know. I'm
Tetris.
sorry. I need to stop talking about calculators. They don't know
We're
what they
gonna
are.
feel left out. They don't even know what that is.
I know. I'm sorry. It's like I'm talking about an
Christine, how old are you?
abacus.
Did they play Phoenix?
Talking about an abacus over here.
Christine, how old are you?
I'm 37.
Old enough to party.
Wait, how old?
37.
Oh, I'm 51.
What?
We have
Huh?
Alyssa, we have much more in common than the younger generation.
Now I'm 61, thanks to somebody.
Now
Congratulations.
let me put comments back on because you reached 30K.
Alyssa, you just sound so youthful.
You do.
Yeah, I'm.
I did something.
I'm not normal.
It is what it is.
Where the comments be?
I'm doing it, Dan. Fucking calm yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a song now, so everyone needs to.
Oh my god, what a disappointing comment to come back to.
I already seen it when I turned it off. It was fun though.
Wait, XD?
Hey, Christine, can you turn the comments back off so I don't have to finish my conversation with Dan about whether or not the U.S. has moral authority to recognize indigenous groups? It's
I'm saying
4:15 in the morning, and I don't want to respond.
Saying they don't and it shouldn't.
Okay, Dan,
What is happening down there?
okay, this is what we'll do. Ready? Dan? Shh. Okay, Tapley is him.
Thank you, Christine. Happy Pride.
Okay, we're gonna listen because Jella's been waiting for this song for like we said we were gonna play it like an hour, 2 hours maybe ago. So we're all muting up, and you get the big screen, and you can deal with 3 minutes of your life because we're all excited to hear it. Thank you, Jella.
Listen, guys, I'm really sorry that this is like the setup, but like it's just of my. I don't know. Can we share video? Can we screen share video of our phones? No, right?
You're good. Who gives a fuck? If people have a problem with it, they can go find
Really,
someone else.
like lame to do a.
I don't know. You're good. I do it the same way, Jella. You know I do.
All right, everyone, shut up.
All right, everyone, meet up.
I feel no threat from any trans person that might be in the toilets. I've never felt threatened by a trans person, as it turns out. The 69,958 rapes that were reported between October 2023 and September 24 in the UK do slightly concern me though. 91% of people prosecuted for sexual offences are cis men aged 18 plus. The biggest threat to cis women sadly comes from cis men. These stats are from Rape Crisis. Girl, you're not radical. Exclusionary, regressive, misogynist. John, yeah, you're not rad at all. Girl, listen up. Women are facing serious dangers, not during boxing matches or from trans people needing a piss, but from actual violence that is carried out against them every week. According to End Violence Against Women, every 3 days a woman is killed by a man. More than 100,000 girls are at risk and living with the consequences of FGM, forced marriage and honour-based abuse. Catherine Bromwich from The Guardian states that trans people make up roughly 0.5% of the UK population and are twice as likely to be victims of crime than cis people. According to Home Office figures, this country has seen an increase in hate crimes towards trans people. And cis women are supposed to focus on a threat we have yet to see manifest from a small minority of the country who are struggling to stay safe themselves. Girl, you're not radical. Exclusionary, regressive, misogynist. Yeah, you're not rad at all. Girl, listen up. Using feminism to erase the rights of others and endanger them is inherently unfeminist. In my opinion, it is the responsibility of a feminist to be progressive, to learn from previous ways, but to always be pushing towards a new one. Feminism must be intersectional. It must never be used to discriminate against others. Feminism must not be used to bully and berate both cis women and trans people. So let's start labelling things correctly, shall we? These types of behaviours are transphobia and misogyny. You are not defending or protecting me. You are not defending or protecting me. You say a cigar is a cigar, but a cigar cannot be compared to a human being, can it, you fucking idiot? By aligning yourself with the likes of Peterson, Elon and Trump, you empower the mentality that women serve a purpose, and that's to be controlled and fucked. Men with power can do what they want. Men that struggle to express emotion or are living under the constant financial, social and familial pressures of what society tells them being masculine is, well apparently they can just kill themselves. Suicide is the biggest killer in men under 50. 125 people die by suicide every week according to Calm's website. Toxic masculinity isn't telling you that masculinity itself is toxic. It's telling you that toxic masculinity is toxic. Gender norms are conduct. Society is nonsense. It's just a social construct. It's all a load of bollocks. And whilst things feel so unsafe, you've given the government more control over my body, and you make millions. And you have the audacity to critique what I say, to critique what they feel, to incite slander and hate. You don't even have the right to perceive me.
What are you protecting? You do not protect me.
Girl, listen up. You're not radical. You're no radical. Exclusionary, aggressive, misogynist. Jump. You're no radical. Jump. Listen up. You're no radical. Exclusionary, aggressive, misogynist. You're no radical.
Fuck yes, Jal. I didn't realize that's what you were playing this whole time. I fucking love that.
It's so good.
They were playing it
Oh
at
my god, I'm so
a
happy
protest just
that
the other
wasn't a
day.
quiet, soulful, meaningful song that I had to listen to for 3.5 minutes. It was so good.
Yeah, that song was a banger. That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna like get your like it was gonna be like nothing compares to you or something, and I was like, no.
Oh my god, no. I wouldn't do that.
Not Sinead.
I got nervous because you were like, it's the best, most meaningful song, and I'm like, oh god. Sorry, I'm too wounded to accept love from Sinead.
I love Sinead. I mean, don't get me wrong. Drink Before the War, that's a really good song. Just Like You Said It Would Be, that's like probably one of my favorite songs of all time. But no, this song literally just came out a couple days ago. It's by a UK artist called Kate Nash, and she's fucking sick. And like, I mean,
they just created a protest like 2 days ago already, Jel.
Huh?
Oh wait, hold on, Jel, come back. Jel, you have to come back. I just got a warning for you, because of the video. There was a lot of things TikTok did not like. But I wanted to I want to hear it so badly I didn't give a fuck. Okay, come back. Hi.
Darren, it was your fault. Apparently, that Dylan's live got banned.
It was?
Yeah, he said that it was you and I forgot her name, but the lovely Australian lady who was up there talking. She said you guys, or Dylan said you were using SHOOTING.
Oh, what were we talking about?
We're talking about the rubber bullets in the context of the LA protest today.
Rubber freedom seeds.
Yeah. But yeah, Jel, holy fuck. So just yesterday, it was just yesterday. Wait, what day was yesterday? Sunday? Sunday was yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, technically.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes. So it was yesterday. On my way to work. There was a protest, and unfortunately I couldn't stop at it because I was headed to work. And they just were playing it. It was the first time I ever fucking heard it. But she's already made waves.
Wow.
It is New York City, so I will say that doesn't mean she's made big. There's someone I just went and saw in Brooklyn, Carsey Blanton, who has some really good fucking shit too. And I don't know how she's not this huge fucking protest creator, especially right now. But she's some badass fucking songs. And I just went and saw her in Brooklyn, and so I kind of thought she was bigger than she is, because New York City does tend to get that type of shit kind of first. But I heard it for the first time yesterday, and no one else had ever heard of her either, and I didn't realize it was a brand new song. I thought it was just I didn't know the music.
Kate Nash has been around for quite some time.
Yeah, she has.
And I didn't know that was Kate that you were just playing. I was digging it, but I didn't understand that it was Kate Nash, and that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, she just dropped the track a couple days ago, which is so, I mean, even just the timing of it all is wow.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that I just didn't hear it on a loop all throughout West Hollywood this weekend, given that we're in 2 weeks of Pride.
Right?
It really was
Are
a
we
banger.
2 weeks in already?
Can I tell you the
Yeah.
scariest thought that I have? So when they sent in the guard to LA, it's for 30 days. It's for all of Pride. And what are they going to be doing in LA for 30 days?
Well, to be clear, though, they literally didn't
Probably
even,
being pig bottoms.
Well, also let's remember that literally, as they're saying that one of the reasons they would be able to legally do it is if the police couldn't deal with what was going on, and if the fucking governor asked. But if the police couldn't handle what was going on, we literally had police officers at the Pride parade
like in support, not even like just making sure they're like doing crowd control because
Yeah,
like traditionally they
always.
walk with them, you know, like they like walk
Yeah.
like in support. There was literally LAPD officers that were still the fucking pride parade at like not having to deal with like this huge fucking thing that like people were like, oh my god, like can't handle it. Like it wasn't until they fucking sent in the National Guard that it became as big as it fucking was because that's what they fucking wanted to do, you know. But like we literally, there's so many police officers that like they were still able to show up to like be like fucking allies or whatever, like in the pride parade.
Because they
Yet,
aren't doing what Tapley said with the rubber things.
well, they
You know,
weren't right. It was
it's
right.
like when that starts and gas starts, then things get crazy.
Gosh, it's almost like Trump escalated on purpose.
Well, it's my
That's what Newsom
observation
said.
today here. Like, I'm not afraid of the police here. I'm afraid of the 4,000 federal troops that have been sent here. The police here are not really cooperating. They're there and they're like kind of stacked next to the National Guard. But it seems to me like they're there for the citizen and to intervene on our behalf.
Although
Whereas
I've
the
seen,
national troops are the
what
ones
about?
that are like,
I don't know about. Wait, you think that I haven't seen. Like, I hear what you're saying as far as like I haven't seen as much, but like I will say, from like, and I mean like I'm not there. You're there, but like
Oh
I'm
my gosh,
walking
Trump
like
just
nonstop on
posted.
citizens.
Trump just posted, arrest the people in face masks now on
So wouldn't that be
X.
ICE? Wouldn't that be
On
ICE?
X.
Wouldn't that be ICE? So that means
And
arrest all ICE because they're the ones that are constantly wearing
yeah,
face masks.
that's
So that
probably
must be
what
what
he
he means.
means.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that's what he means.
all of downtown LA declared an unlawful assembly area.
Yeah, that happened, a few hours ago. And the kid also tweeted about like masks will be illegal at all protests, and you're like, says fucking who? Like what? You can't fucking just like
it,
unilaterally just be like that's the way it is.
The
it is
most stressful
technically
thing.
illegal here to wear a like full coverage mask here in Los Angeles.
Is
And
it really?
it's
But like,
one
what
of
about like
yes,
what
but
about a
it's one of those things.
C19?
No, so first of all, like that definitely falls outside of the line of or outside the line of the directive, right? Like
So
you
if I'm wearing
definitely
a
were allowed to wear
hoodie,
your C19 masks and stuff like
wait.
that.
So wait, I'm just wondering. The general question, Kelly. So if like
Yeah.
I'm wearing a C19 and like a hat because it's winter and like a hoodie on top of it, like where do people get arrested actually for this outside of a protest scene?
No, and I would say legal because in the context that you just offered, like C19 mask, hoodie over your head, you still see basically the most discernible and identifiable part of your face, which is your eyes. And in
Nuh-uh.
fact, like
That's why I wear
well,
goggles. Are
well,
goggles
but
not allowed? Because that's what I wear at protests. Because I'm not
well,
stupid.
well, fine, but I'm saying like if the premise is that you were wearing a C19 mask, goggles, and a hoodie, then perhaps there would be like some thrust to them being able to justify
Wait,
arresting
okay,
you.
but
I'm
what
not
about
saying
like
they
a ski
should.
mask, like Jessica just said? Like
You
if it's
can't do it.
winter,
If you do a
if it's
ski mask,
winter.
you can't. It's Los Angeles. There would never be any
Oh, okay,
reason for you to put on a full ski mask
fair,
when the temperature never
fair,
dips below like 60 degrees during the
Okay,
daytime.
fair.
But like it's
I mean,
but
not fair,
I
but
get what you're saying,
understandable.
and it's a fair question. But like, you can totally wear C19 masks, etc. And in fact, like if somebody were to walk outside, like a year ago or 6 months ago in a full-fledged Michael Myers mask, I'm almost positive that a cop wouldn't have blinked their eye and they wouldn't have like gone through on their technical ability to be able to arrest someone. I think what we're seeing right now, particularly given that I'm so sorry, who's Alyssa, I think just said that yes, this Trump tweet. I think this is just one of those other examples in which Trump is narrowing in on a little used kind of uh he's finding a way to like push uh he's trying to find a way to justify
Yeah, I didn't
detaining
real.
people by narrowing in like on a very infrequently used like
Yeah,
law,
that's such
right?
a. I did not know that. Like that's actually adds
Okay,
so much
Trump
context
just
to
put on Truth Social, once a great American city, Los Angeles has been invaded and occupied by I don't know if I can say this word,
it. You can say it.
illegal Schmalians
Yeah.
and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents
Oh my
to try and
God.
stop our deportation operations. But these
Yeah,
lawless
that
riots
was
only
yesterday.
strengthen our resolve. I
Yeah.
am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put to these something an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored. The blah 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 will be
Wait, but just
expelled.
in context, wasn't that one posted yesterday? So just so I
Yeah,
have the
that was
timeline?
that was
then-
yesterday.
And
The
then
only
JD
reason I'm making the distinction is because like it could mean something different if he like says it now, because then it's like, well, yes, because that's going even for like that means like
Yeah.
he's like trying to double down on as far as like but like it's like, yeah, look what I just fucking created by fucking doing
And
this.
then JD Vance says this moment calls for decisive leadership. The president will not tolerate rioting and violence.
I mean, well, did you guys hear the news this morning? Or
Really quickly, Gay. Sorry, Val. Before we introduce you, for the people who have been in the request, I keep whoever like this one box for some reason. It was like Val's box before, but whenever I add in the 8th person, it keeps not like loading in and dropping the person. So Witty, I know you've been there for a bunch too. I've added you in like 3 times, and I've added in whoever was the last person who dropped before Val did, because like it wouldn't let them load in either. So don't think that I'm not trying to accept you, because I've been like I don't know if this next person will load in either. But Witty, I just accepted you too, and you didn't load in. I'll see if Abood leads in, but I don't know if he's loading in for the rest of you. But for me, I'm still getting dots. Okay, you loaded in. You loaded in.
I will say, for what it's worth, I'm about to have to drop. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I got to go to bed. So Witty can have my space, I guess. But really quick, Christine, something that just occurred to me is, in fact, I'm reminded that this law, I guess, that you can't wear a mask in public here, wasn't actually a law until C-19, and it was specifically because of like the looting riots that they basically banned wearing full coverage face masks. It was because of C-19.
That adds so much context to it too, because I like thought like when we were saying it, like I thought it was like trying to be like they're very because like the way you first framed it, like before this one that you did from True Social was like like why are they covering their faces type of shit, and like in that way, and so I didn't realize that like there's that fucking aspect, so that adds so much more to it.
No,
And
I just made a pretty lazy statement with no context applied to it, so my
Well,
bad.
and you'll notice that this protest has so many drones. Like these protests have so many drones, and it's all they want them out there. They want them fighting, and they want the facial recognition, and they want to track them, and they're going to go get them after they're done protesting.
Alyssa, guess where those drones are from?
Wait, hold on. Wait 1 second.
Israel?
Wait,
A
one
company
second.
called
I've been-
Elbit Systems.
I've been listening.
Wait, hold
Elbit
on.
Systems.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop. I gotta go to bed. It was fun to come up here for a little while. I really love this room. And unscripted, it's so good to see you specifically for the second time. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. I just love you, and there's something about you that just warms my heart every time I've seen you so far. But and of course, love you all too. But really quickly, just know, like from here on the ground, I'm very safe. I live on the border of WeHo and Beverly Hills. I'm the very last kind of dispositionally kind of in the last place that would be breached, right? If it's going to be, I live around YT wealth essentially. So like I feel like I have a nice perimeter around me, but like outlook not so good out there. Like the rest of the city today, it was the most warped, bizarre kind of just it, specifically because it was happening on the same day as Pride, the Pride parade. There were so many areas and so many streets that were blockaded in a way that was really confusing, and that kind of contrasted the two different events that were happening in real time. And I kind of the emotional temperature of the city just felt confused. It felt like maximum applied cognitive dissonance. People trying to like uh, maintain their bubble and not actually like contend with the reality of what's happening outside of our own front doors, which is sad. But at the same time, I kind of understand how functionally that's a lot of people's coping mechanism. But the actual observable reality is super bad. There's no way around it. Trump is making good on promises that Stephen Miller, that Steve Bannon have been saying out loud on camera and straight into the barrel of a camera. And to anybody who's paying attention, none of this should be a surprise. This is literally them making good on their promise in a very systemic and very methodical way. I also maintain, I think that Dan and I kind of disagreed about this a little bit on a panel we were just on together. I am also of the opinion that this is a rushed moment to counterbalance the weight of what just occurred with the big fugly breakup, right? I don't necessarily think it's a coincidence that they decided to go straight for the jugular in an extremely populous city that arguably would probably be most convicted to defend itself
Yeah, and
against
they
this kind of
knew it was going to lead to
authoritarianism.
protests and
They knew it was going to be dramatic. They knew that it would command the attention of the world. And they knew that it was a story that could, and no pun intended, trump Trump's current scandal, in which the man who spent well over $200 million to fund his ascension back into office got on his own social media platform days ago to tell the world that that very same man that he helped uplift is on the Epstein list, and amongst a lot of other like damning implications.
and
I
like
think
then
there's a
Trump
there.
literally said you didn't fucking find anything, and I mean the whole like you didn't they didn't even fucking find anything, and oh no, it wasn't me, it wasn't him, it was fucking
Not only that, but Trump wants to clear out LA before the Olympics.
Say more on that.
well I don't know if
Trump
we have
is
to worry
like
about the
really
Olympics,
excited
yeah.
that he gets to be president during the Olympics and
He like
some
literally
other
brought it up
sports.
during fucking like the
Yeah.
Arlington Memorial.
He's such a fucking weirdo, honestly.
But wait,
Until,
real quick, I don't want
until
to pass
the
this because
national.
Tapley just brought something up I didn't know, and I think it's incredibly important that we put this in context because, like, I don't know if all of you knew that because in California it's not a law, in LA it is, like, it's not all over in California. So I do think like Tapley brought up something, and if you have to drop Tapley, I completely get it. But
No,
like,
so I could stick around for a couple minutes.
I really appreciate you bringing this to my attention because I looked into it because Christine likes to do research. So it's California Penal Code Section in 185 PC, wearing mask or disguise to evade police. So in order, like, and this is like, that's why, like, I'm like, now I'm honing in on this because like I hadn't seen the one that Jell just posted because that happened while we were on live. But like, so I just seen the one where like kids said like they're hiding themselves and like that type of shit and like talking about masks. And I thought he was just doing his normal like Trump shit. And I didn't take into effect like, cause I didn't know it was a law, but so like when you read the law, so it literally says that like the elements of the crime, that it's unlawful to wear a mask or disguise in order to evade the police. In order to prove the crime, you have to prove that the defendant wore a mask, false whiskers, or any personal disguise. This is literally the law, by the way. It says false whiskers. This is literally the law I'm reading right now. I'm literally reading the penal code. That's literally like in order to prove it. This is the first element. The defendant wore either a mask, false whiskers, or any personal disguise. And I'm not laughing because it's like now that I know that why he's using it, it's horrible. But like the fact that they included false whiskers is hilarious. Number two, that the defendant evaded.
But wait, are real whiskers okay?
I guess they didn't. They said they clarified false whiskers. So
Do
real
you think they
whiskers-
just mean like whiskers in a human context, like a mustache or beard?
Yeah, like fake mustache.
Hell?
Yeah, like a fake mustache.
Say facial hair. What?
Like fake mustache.
Yes,
The
just,
defendant
you
evaded.
can't wear this. You can't wear this disguise.
Yeah, the defendant evaded.
I mean, that's literally what I look like when I wear glasses.
The
just
defendant
FYI.
evaded, escaped discovery, recognition, or identification. But I will say that one makes it hard because then you have to say that like you have to be able to prove all like these three elements. You have to prove all of them. So like then you have to like say that like they were able to evade, which like that's gonna be actually it's, as I say that's gonna be hard to prove. It's not. And three, that the defendant was in the commission of a public offense. So if they say like they can prove that very fucking easily. So like he's literally now. You're right. Like I didn't realize like since I didn't know that was a law. I didn't even take into account like how much like why that would make more even fucking sense to go after a place like LA where like in New York City you're allowed to wear a mask all the fuck you want. Like I can fucking walk out as like I can fucking have my entire face fucking covered with a paper bag and no one can say shit about
What
it.
if it's cold? You can't wear a goddamn scarf over it. Like,
Well, that's what he was saying. Like,
Can I
remember
make
that they
an
don't have like a ski mask in California.
Do you kind of agree? Do you agree with me, Christine, that like there's a world in which ultimately this is a much smaller scale kind of scenario that's very similar to like how Trump has approached the Insurrection Act, if you will, like basically
Yeah.
found a technical law essentially and is trying to stretch it and bend it in a way to basically enact his
Gosh,
directives.
almost like what he did, like with Garcia and like with,
Yeah.
like
It's
and
like
like.
when a cat is on a coffee table and it uses its paw to like push a little thing like a little bit closer to the edge, and it keeps looking at you, and it's
Yeah.
waiting until your reaction to it. You know what I mean? Like it's literally that. It's also like, I don't
A
know.
test case. It's a test case, and it sets up precedent for like, no, I'm allowed to do this now, and I've like because I've now like shown that like there is some like again like
And
we've talked about the three different.
in a technical and semantic sense, all framed around law that existed before the event happened, right?
Right. Well,
Or
and that he
yeah.
escalated,
Like
and
when I
like he
just
didn't
think about
even
him like
evoke
trying to,
Insurrection Act.
when I think about him just like trying to create like ideas and laws and like trying to put this into place, I literally I get flashbacks to like preschool when like a kid would be like, if you step on a crack, you break your mom's back. Like it's literally the epitome of like that type of rule. It feels so juvenile and stupid. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Like it just
Just to qualm everyone's fears, I have stepped on many cracks, and my
Yeah.
mom's back is okay.
like you can't wear a mask during the protest. Like it's like
Can
there's
I make an
something bad's
announcement?
gonna happen.
Really quickly, we do have to introduce the new
I used to go
people. So
stomp
we've
on the
got
sidewalk.
Val and Witty Kitty. If we could we're just doing agent state at this point. Love you, Anna. How are we doing? Good luck at the eye doctors. Hope everything's good. Val, if we could just get agent state. We're not even doing who we voted for anymore because
Yep.
like,
23 in Massachusetts.
welcome in. And Witty.
26, Ohio. And can I make you a quick announcement?
What's up?
I am starting some disability lives that center around disability and what we go through, and just showing the world how disabled people are feeling and what they're going through. And I'm also making a Discord that has providers by state that won't gaslight you, and financial resources by state, and we'll also have a mutual aid fund that like people can post in the Discord, and then if anybody has anything to give, they can help with that. Yeah, I want to help people, because being disabled is, especially right now, is really, really scary, and people need to realize, I feel like what we're going through, that we exist, and kind of bring more light to it.
Witty, I love that. And like I know you and I have talked about it before, but I love that like you're starting to create that space. And please, I would encourage you to add into your bio the link to the Discord if you haven't already. I haven't even checked.
Yes.
So people can join in. And then I don't know if you're going to be doing it I assume you're going to be doing it under your name when you're holding the lives.
Yes.
So like anyone who's not following Witty who would like to like either learn more or are part of the community. I know I'm permanently disabled and I'm currently working. But like as someone who also has a disability in different ways, I know that's something that so many different like people need. And I think that idea as far as like safe people